You up? The words beamed across the screen. Your eyes adjust somewhat quickly to the light now emanating from the phone. You shuffle in the silk covers blanketing over your body as you shift awake. The numbers at the top of the screen share to you that it's quite late. You must have fallen asleep. 12:07 a.m. You bemoan the sound that woke you, an annoyance pulling you from your slumber. You breathe a deep sigh, knowing immediately the source of the message. You wonder, despite already knowing, about the inappropriate intent of the sender of the message. The thought knocks around inside your brain, yet for some reason you can't tell if you're just being unreasonable. Yet it forms regardless, and you can't help yourself from thinking, you should have never given your number to Drake. You're Millie Bobby Brown, and this is The Red Thread, a podcast series where we apparently...
I knew immediately once that text message you up, I knew exactly what this was.
I was hoping it wouldn't be so obvious, but it's pretty hard to write that without it being very obvious that you are Millie Bobby Brown.
That's fine. I think that's still good.
Right into it.
All right, so
welcome to The Red Thread.
Yeah, welcome to The Red Thread. This is apparently where we talk about hip-hop artists and drama. That's what we are now. We've done...
No.
P. Diddy was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but this has conspiracy as well. Like, because right now it's a bunch of allegations, and we have to research whether or not these conspiracy theories hold any water.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
We're getting conspiratorial.
We, as three way too white guys, aren't here to talk about, the je ne sais quoi of their rap capabilities. But when we heard conspiracy, mystery, we're in. You can't get us out of it.
That's right.
It has something for everyone.
I was honestly very scared about this topic given our whiteness, let's say. It felt like a very intimidating thing to
Given our complexion, it's a little...
yeah, it's a bit dangerous. But I do enjoy hip-hop, maybe not to the level where I understand all of the digs and the references, but I do like the artists. Even like Drake, I don't mind his music. I hate him as a person. Like, he's very corny, and I'm not a big fan of Drake as a person, but his music, I mean, you can't deny that it is mostly pretty good. Like, he does have good tracks.
Yeah, I won't fight you on it. Like, when I think of like the greats in the industry, I will never think of Drake. But when his tracks come on at like the bar or something, yeah, they're fun to dance to for sure.
That's exactly what they are.
I would call Drake a great in an influential sense, like fame-wise, right?
Oh yeah,
maybe not like if I was talking greats about like capability, it would be people like Kendrick and whatnot. But Drake has been irrefutably popular. Yeah. Especially with his earlier on stuff. And I really like all his albums up till Views. I thought they were all good. I'm not crazy about the new stuff, but my walkout song when I played baseball in high school was Headlines. So,
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that's where you are.
Okay.
Yeah. I was also in high school, to clarify.
Yeah.
So.
Drake was massive during high school. Maybe it's just because high school was 15 years ago, but very influential at that time. Influential to the scene, to the music industry. Very popular. Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick, I kind of think is like more of an artist. I guess like an auteur kind of, like very, very, he takes the craft very seriously, and that's why I respect him so much. Whereas Drake is more like, a typical industry person, I would say, someone that's just like putting out hits for money, basically, that they're all pretty like derivative and stuff like that. Nothing like as insane as Kendrick Lamar. That's where I'm at.
At least right now, I would say back during Take Care and Nothing Was the Same, that I would call him an artist then, I think. But now, yeah, I agree.
Maybe, yeah. Anyway, this is The Red Thread. Do we even say what this is about, or do we just immediately go into talking about Drake and Kendrick?
Well, there's the title. I assume
you guys know. You've been if you're watching The Red Thread, you're on the internet. The idea of this is to like give a comprehensive deep dive, especially for people who don't know anything about the beef. But I'm pretty sure most of the people coming here know of the beef in general, that the beef was happening, right? Because you couldn't escape it for the last week. Like, it was mass reported. It was everywhere. Yeah. So you know what we're talking about to some degree, but we are going to get deep into it. But this is The Red Thread. I'm Jackson, Charlie, Isaiah are both here, and we're going to do just our best in our limited capacity to talk about the beef between Drake and Kendrick. And
our limited complexion.
Yeah, our limited complexion. That's a good way of putting it. And also call back to the beginning, just in case you're really confused about what that little intro was. Millie Bobby Brown does play a minor part in this story. So that was a reference to something.
Minor part.
A minor. Nice.
That was good. That was good.
You're quite the artist yourself, Jackson.
I don't even know I'm doing it. That's what's crazy. That was completely accidental. So thank you for pointing that out. So that's a reference to something that we'll talk about down the line. But you guys, so Isaiah, you said you hadn't really dug too deeply into this.
Well, I say that compared to people who really know it. I've heard all the... Are you talking about them as artists or them as like the recent beef going on?
The beef.
I've heard all the songs in the beef. I've seen some stuff breaking down like, okay, well, this diss actually means this and is a reference to this or whatever. So I'm familiar with like all of the stuff in the music, but maybe not all of the lore leading up to it. Like I'm a bit hazy on how it kicked off.
How we got to this point.
Yeah, I think the first was Kendrick's song on the was it the Metro Future album or something like that? Like that was one of the kickoffs for it, but I don't know why that happened. So yeah.
Yeah. Charlie, what about you?
Yeah, I don't know like the extensive history of why Kendrick hates Drake or how long that's been going on for. I just know all of the recent stuff, like what started the catalyst, why they're at the point that they're at. I only know current stuff, so it's going to be interesting to take a look at the history between the two of them because Kendrick fucking hates him. Like,
oh yeah,
really
yeah.
Whereas I feel like Drake is mostly just playing defense at this point. Like I don't even think he was that like pissed at Kendrick to begin with. Like there was no kind of like really deep-seated hatred for Kendrick. It really feels like he's just been playing defense the entire time against Kendrick, who just absolutely loathed him, which is great. Okay, so surface level thoughts. Who do you guys think is winning this beef currently?
It's not even thoughts. There's only one right answer. It's Kendrick. It's not even
it's
close.
So obvious. I do want to say though, like again, to Drake's credit, all of the songs apart from the AI generated one, or the one with AI in it, have been pretty good. Like even Drake's side of it, they have been good songs.
Family Matters is the best thing Drake's done in like 10 years.
Yeah. Like, Family Matters was really good.
Yeah. So I mean, it's bringing out the best in both of them, which is great for the hip hop scene.
I will say, yes, in the public eye, indisputably Kendrick's winning. Duh.
Yes, yeah.
But I think if some of the stuff Kendrick's alleging can't be proven, then maybe like people will kind of start to turn a bit, because there was that whole not to jump the gun on the episode a bit, but there's a whole thing about like Kendrick talking about a daughter and then Drake's like, yeah, that was we fed you false information. So like maybe in the long term Drake will kind of win, but as of right now, yeah, everyone's on Kendrick's side.
I feel like because a part of Kendrick's argument against Drake stems on the fact that Drake is potentially a pedophile, let's say, or has dealings with underage predator. Since the basis of his argument is that it kind of already like poisons the well, because everyone obviously hates predators and pedophiles. Right. So he's throwing out that accusation immediately is like, holy shit, Drake. I don't know if I want to defend Drake.
Yeah, it's also just not an accusation that's out of nowhere. Like what Drake alleged on Kendrick of him, beating a woman, that has no evidence other than like a single Reddit thread that mentions that the woman went to therapy for an undisclosed reason. But for Kendrick's argument against Drake, one of his big ones, the Predator one, there are videos and many, many years of documented encounters he's had with underage people, notably Millie Bobby Brown, as well as a couple other celebrities when they were underage. So like those are things you as just a person can go look up yourself. And he kissed that 17-year-old on stage after learning she was 17. Like, those things have real evidence behind them, which is why I think Kendrick is winning in such a big way.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's things to point to and use as additional sources of like evidence against Drake. Whereas for all of the things said against Kendrick Lamar, it's a lot of just circumstantial kind of he said kind of stuff that you can't really concretely confirm.
That is true, and I forgot about the thing you mentioned, Charlie, that Drake did allege domestic violence.
Yeah.
So if Drake's wrong about that, then absolutely that'll hurt him. Yeah.
I mean, if either party is wrong about anything they've alleged at this point, it's pretty hurtful to either one of them, because they are coming out swinging with all these allegations, and they would look pretty foolish if any of them were proven wrong. So before we get into the meat of it, though, quick shout out again, links in the description to a bunch of, well, our show notes for one, 34 pages this week of mostly lyrics breakdowns, because there has been a lot of diss tracks released. So there's copious amounts of sources and information down there in the show notes, so you can go read over them, painstakingly compiled over the last few days. So go check them out. It makes for a great companion piece to what will be the rest of the episode itself. And a reminder, just like Drake and Kendrick, we're also on audio platforms. We're on Spotify, so you can go check us out there, and it would really help a lot. It helps the show leaving a review or a rating, and also clicking the follow button so that you get notifications whenever a new episode comes out. Thank you to everyone who's done that. It really does mean a lot to all of us. That's it for notes, so let's just get into this. We've already talked about it, but we may as well, for people out there who may be clicking into this that don't have any kind of idea who Kendrick Lamar or Drake are. I've just, created a little short biography, I guess, for both of them, just to kind of get people up to date on them. You guys fight over who wants to take Kendrick.
I'll take Kendrick. You can take Drake, Isaiah. You can be on the losing side.
I love how as soon as we get into a pop culture episode, Charlie's immediately like, mine, it's mine, I want it.
I just don't want to have to give Drake's biography.
All right, that's fair. Go ahead.
All right. Born Kendrick Lamar Duckworth on 17th of June, 1987, Kendrick is often regarded as one of the greatest rappers of all time. He came from Compton, California, and gained widespread recognition with his album Good Kid, Mad City, releasing in 2012. He went on to release critically acclaimed albums To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn, and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers in 2022. He has won multiple Grammy Awards, more than Drake, 17-5, as well as a Pulitzer Prize for his album Damn.
I'm pretty sure that's a massive deal, winning a Pulitzer Prize. That's usually reserved for writers and journalists, right?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah,
it's normally given to writers who expose some massive story or books that have become classic, stuff like that. So for Kendrick to win it isn't a testament to him as a musician or popular figure. It's a testament to him as a writer, which is a really big deal.
Yeah, a massive deal.
Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn, all three of those are some of the best albums. I'm not old enough to appreciate a lot of the founders, Biggie, Tupac, stuff like that. But from my generation of hip hop and stuff, some of the best albums ever made.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of Kendrick's albums, I mean, all of them are really, 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 really good. He's obviously a very talented individual. He's kind of like that auteur, once in a generation kind of figure for the music industry. I think a lot of people give him that kind of credit, and I think it's well deserved, honestly. So it makes sense why he's earned that kind of, award. And then we got Drake.
All right, so Aubrey Drake Graham, known simply as Drake. Man, if you as of a year ago, if you would have said I would have said those words in a YouTube video ever, I'd be like, of course not. Why would I talk about Drake?
It's crazy.
Aubrey Drake Graham, known simply as Drake, because I guess Aubrey didn't have the same ring to it, was born the 24th of October, 1986. Oh man, I forgot an Australian wrote this, so it's all formatted in the Australian way that threw me off.
No, what did I do?
24 October. Oh no, what are you editing? There's stuff flying around.
I'm going to be honest, the audience may have heard it and seen my reaction, but I accidentally knocked over my tea all over my keyboard and my desk. So I'm just covered in tea.
No, you're deleting everything.
I'm not doing anything, I swear.
You just deleted an entire sentence.
The sentences are going away as I read it.
It's Drake. He possessed my tea. I think my keyboard is like short-circuiting. You take.
Right, so before,
it's still going.
Before
Stop.
it's deleting.
I need to close the document.
I need to
close the document. You guys take over. Am I out, or is someone else doing it? Because I'm not in there anymore.
No, you're out now. You're out now.
Okay. I think right. We're good.
Yeah,
half of that got deleted. All right.
Maybe just Control Z and it'll fix itself. I need to go get a towel or something to wipe up everything.
Okay.
I'll be right back. You guys take over.
Sure. He was born October 24th, 1986. He was born in Toronto, Canada. He also had a long and successful acting and music career. He has. Oh wait, I think some of this got deleted as his team destroyed everything.
That is absolutely just a sentence that didn't make the cut anymore.
Drake. Okay, so but he also had a successful acting and music career. He started out acting in Degrassi: The Next Generation before making his move to music with the release of Thank Me Later in 2010. There are a few other smaller projects I remember he did before that, but Thank Me Later was like his breakout, effectively. He blends elements of hip-hop, R&B, and pop in his music, and has also won numerous Grammy Awards. He is a big hit with women because of his R&B influences, at least as of current year. His best albums are probably Take Care and Nothing Was the Same from the early 2010s. Drake is more club music, with a lot of his songs hitting the mainstream scene. One Dance, God's Plan, and of course Hotline Bling, for example. Well, that's certainly true of like current era Drake. Like the Drake, again, that I knew in high school and stuff like that was seen as more so like part of the Young Money crowd. You know, he came under Lil Wayne's label. He became famous for a lot of his hip hop music that, infused a lot of like, more poppy elements into it. But he was still taken very seriously as a rapper on the come up.
Yeah, that was the same for my experience as well. In college, you'd hear Drake music in every house party you went to. Everywhere would have some Drake tracks in the mix. It's just one of those things where he really did explode onto the scene. It was very easy listening, good vibes kind of music.
Club music.
And he was also
Absolutely.
featured in a ton of other songs. Like he has so many features on others.
Like all the stuff he did, like I mentioned with when he was in Young Money and stuff like that. He did a ton of different songs that became really big as like hype music or stuff like Trophies or something like that, or like his album that he made with Future, Diamonds Are Forever, like had some bangers in it. Jumpman, like every basketball game I went to played that song. Like he was definitely taken serious as an artist for a while, and I guess he still is in some sense, even if it's more of like a poppy sing-song kind of thing compared to, where he started out at, which is why a lot of like the hip-hop community sees Kendrick as more legitimate because he didn't leave those roots, whereas a lot of people kind of view that Drake did.
Yeah, 100%. Is Jackson still with us? Did you make it back?
Yeah, I'm back, but I think my keyboard is like permanently deleting, so I'm a bit afraid to come in. Yeah, it's deleting everything. Jesus Christ.
Do you not have
top of the documents going away?
Do you have anything to replace it with or no?
Okay, so I don't really need my keyboard, do I? So I can just unplug it probably, and that should be safe. Yeah.
Here, while you do that, I'll just take the next part as well. This is like their early days. Back in November 2011, Drake released his second album called Take Care. The album was a critical and commercial success, debuting on Billboard 100 and selling 631K in the first week, despite the fact it was leaked 9 days before release. At this time, Kendrick Lamar hadn't yet made a major label debut. Backing up to the months before Take Care release, Kendrick Lamar was in Toronto performing his first ever show on the Section 90 tour when Drake allegedly set up a meeting between the two. Kendrick later said in an interview that they clicked immediately and Drake had a genuine soul. Drake then invited him to be a part of the album he was working on. Kendrick recorded Buried Alive Interlude, which became track 7 on the Grammy-winning album. This track featured solely Kendrick Lamar, where he talks about his rise to fame and how it will change himself and his art. Following the positive response from Buried Alive Interlude, Drake invited Kendrick to open for him on the Club Paradise tour with A$AP Rocky in early 2012. In his song 4 p.m. in Calabasas, Drake raps about how he fought for Kendrick and Rocky to be a part of this tour, saying, "When they told me to take an R&B inward on the road, I told them no and drew for Kendrick and Rocky." Furthermore, in October 2012, A$AP Rocky released Fucking Problems featuring Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and 2 Chainz. I actually I forgot that was Rocky's song.
That song went so hard. Yeah.
I still hear that anytime I go to a club or bar.
Yep.
So good. Within the same month, Kendrick Lamar released Poetic Justice featuring Drake, which would become the last time the two collaborated together professionally.
Yeah, so they did start. They did start as as friends, industry friends at least. Well, we don't know friends for sure, but yeah, they.
They got along. They had a working relation at least.
No, they were definitely friends. I mean, Kendrick called him a genuine soul. Like they connected. Drake fought for him. Like they were definitely friends, I would say.
All right. Well, wait. Okay. That just like saying he's a genuine soul just kind of sounds like industry talk. Really, just I guess it could be inauthentic. We don't know for sure. Regardless, I do think Drake doesn't have a genuine soul. I don't think there's a genuine bone in Drake's body, honestly.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
There's some heat coming off of Jackson. We'll see if it's justified.
Again, I've liked his music. The tease pissed me off, okay? I can't hold that against Drake, but I'm pretty sure that there's now a fire hazard behind my desk because there's tea dripping off the desk into the open PowerPoints below the desk, so I'm a bit nervous about that and a bit pissed off.
If you die in a house fire on a Drake versus Kendrick episode,
you would really contribute to the conspiracy element of this whole story for sure.
Oh, yeah, true. That'd be pretty cool. We'll profit off your death. Don't worry, it won't go to waste. I will say, Poetic Justice, bang up song. I'll also say earlier I said that the name of the Drake album with Future was Diamonds Are Forever. That's because diamonds are on the cover. It's What a Time to Be Alive. I knew that for the person who was yelling at me in the comments. I'm sorry. I'm just stupid. His tea got me all messed up, okay?
Yeah, it's infectious. It's infectious. There's going to be a lot on this. We're going to get things wrong, definitely. There's just so much, and there's so many names of albums and artists and stuff like that it's just very hard to keep track of, honestly. All right, so next we come to Control. So after releasing Good Kid, Mad City in 2012, Kendrick Lamar was quickly becoming a popular name in the hip-hop genre. In August of that year, he featured on a track with Big Sean. We love Big Sean. Big Sean called Control. Many have said that this verse shook up the hip-hop scene as Kendrick named 11 of the biggest emerging rappers at the time by name: Jermaine Cole, Big Crit, Pusha T, Meek Mills, A$AP Rocky, Drake, Big Sean, the very artist he was collaborating on the song with, Jay Electronica, Tyler the Creator, and Mac Miller. He directly calls them out in what appears to at least be friendly competition by saying, "I got love for you all," and this is a quote, "I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you guys." So he was coming out.
Why did you get to say guys, but then...
What do you mean?
Okay. I'm saying guys. I'm going to replace it with guys.
Yeah, because you put inward here, so I just read it as it was on the teleprompter.
Yeah, I'm going to murder you, fellas. I'm going to murder you. I'm just going to say friends, I'm going to go with compatriots.
Guys from now on.
Are we all going to come up with
Comrades,
a different word
perhaps.
to use? Okay.
No,
I'm just going guys
for comedic effect, but
okay, whatever. Anyway, I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you, N-words, is what the direct quote is. I mean, it's not the direct quote, but it's the quote I'm using. And
you sound like a college professor who's 85 years old describing this. Like, the way you just said N-word, you were like, trying to murder you, like, adjust glasses.
It's a dangerous topic to go into. There is a lot of that in this document. In an interview with Power 106 Los Angeles, Kendrick talks about the after effects of the track. He would go on to say that when he went and recorded the verse, it was all in fun. Everyone who spoke about were people that he knew, and it was all fun and love. But he can recognize that the media twisted the verse, and that it had been many years since the industry had been shaken up like that. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of like true. Like the 2010s, from what I remember, like the hip hop, it was kind of like a peaceful era in the universe, the hip hop universe, right? There wasn't that much like big beef, or at least not the same kind of beef you'd get in the 90s and the early 2000s. So
not
something like this,
serious.
Yeah, something like this happening, even if it was like just friendly competition, like saying that I'm better than all you, all you guys that I'm naming right now, even saying something like that was like newsworthy. And yeah, the media ran wild with that, obviously.
And yeah, I mean, it's clear that Kendrick's just saying that, he's competitive.
Yeah.
Right? He wants to win.
I mean, it's pretty obvious, yeah. It was obvious to everyone apart from Drake. He was directly asked about J. Cole and Drake and how they are after the release of the song, to which he responded that they are in the same places before the song and he has respect for both the artists. The song inspired a lot of song responses from artists he called out and some he didn't, including Friends by Mac Miller, TKO by J. Cole, Ooh Kill 'Em by Meek Mills, How to Rap by B.O.B. and more. So a lot of like those other artists responded in their own way to that kind of diss just through kind of putting it in songs and stuff.
Pretty sure TKO is on the Kids See Go, not Kids See Ghosts. I'm getting all my collabs mixed up. The J. Cole album that was about KOD. Yeah, that was the name of the album. Pretty sure TKO was on there if I remember right. But yeah, most of them just like they understood what Kendrick was saying. Except one guy.
Yeah. There was one guy. There was one person who vocalized their dislike for the verse outside of, just lyricism. And that person was Drake. Weeks after the release of Control, Drake spoke to Billboard saying, quote, "It just sounded like an ambitious thought to me. That's all it was. I know good and well that Kendrick's not murdering me at all in any platform. So when that day presents itself, I guess we can revisit the topic." So he is saying it sounded like it was just ambition to me, but he still sounds so salty even in that quote. Like his ego is being kind of like hit even at that point.
He's a sensitive guy.
He is a sensitive guy, and that's why we love him. We love you. We love you, Drake. He also spoke in another interview saying that Kendrick was a hungry underdog and he was giving the people in the verse, quote, moments. He talks about how it was forgettable, asking the host, "Are you listening to it now?" The host silently insinuated no. Then Drake asked, "What if I asked you, how does that verse start?" Which the host does not remember. So that's a very compelling argument. That's kind of like the same argument you used to me, Charlie, whenever you talk about like, do I remember any of the characters in Rogue One? And that's how you define if it's a bad movie. Like that's always like your point.
That's not the only way I define it, but you're like, yeah, this movie's fucking amazing. So I'm like, all right, Jackson, who's the main character's name? And you're like, what? Oh, jeez.
I didn't say it was amazing. We're talking about Star Wars, Rogue One. An argument that's apparently been happening for 7 years between us. It's not amazing or anything, but I don't think like me remembering their names, especially with my memory issues, is a sign of it's like, quality issue.
But it does still point to like, okay, this didn't hook like you thought it would, or like you insinuate it does, and that's the point he's trying to make, which I get.
Yeah. So you agree with Drake though?
No, I don't agree with him, but I get the point he was trying to make because I make that point against you pretty often.
But basically, he's saying you don't remember the verse, so it's not going to have much like, staying power or anything. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything. This is to prove a point that the song is not really relevant. He did have a slightly nicer thing to say, however, like that the verse had no malice and Kendrick had a lot of potential. But then he goes on to say that he lost respect for Kendrick for only going halfway with the verse and not completely fucking everybody. So Drake wanted him to go even harder, I guess.
Well, he's saying if you're gonna do it, do it.
Yeah, do it big.
Well, how else? What else is he gonna do?
Call out every single person in the industry, I guess, which sounds like far too many.
Drake's saying if you want smoke, get it, right? But he's saying that what Kendrick did was kind of like a half measure. That it wasn't going out the way, when really that was really what Kendrick was doing at all. He was just naming off people, then saying I'm trying to murder you, talking about in like a professional sense, like I'm trying to be the best. But Drake's like, oh, if you want to come at me, like don't pretend.
I guess that's what it is. Drake could be like, you're using that kind of ambitious element to it to hide your true feelings about us, about all of us, and you should have just gone all the way and just insulted us or whatever. It just looks weak or whatever.
I will mention during that paragraph, it was funny that it takes 25 minutes for a group of white guys to turn a conversation about rap into a conversation about Star Wars.
I know, it's the saddest thing ever.
You did that. That was Jackson.
That was my fault. I don't know why.
That was the Australian, to be clear.
It's okay, because Charlie always makes that argument against anything like anything really, like the names argument, and that all started like the very first situation of that starting was with the Rogue One thing, our Rogue One argument on the podcast. So like it's just what I always point to as an example of that. Yeah, I wish I didn't bring up Star Wars. That's a big
too
hit.
Late now.
That's a big hit for this.
From that point on, during the decade of 2013 to 2023, it became obvious that Drake and Kendrick Lamar began to dislike each other. Let's start to have a look at the disses. Keep in mind, a lot of this is conjecture and theory crafting. At the 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards, Kendrick featured on the cypher with Isaiah Rashad, Schoolboy Q, Ab Soul, and J Rock. He rapped about the aftermath on the track Control, where he says, "Yeah, and nothing has been the same since they dropped Control and tucked a sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes. Ha ha, joke's on you. High five, smack, I'm bulletproof." As a note, Nothing Was the Same could be a reference to Drake's newly released album, Nothing Was the Same, which, yeah,
Could
wait. What's that note in reference to? Where does he say nothing was the same?
In the lines above, it says, yeah, and nothing.
Oh, nothing. Oh, yeah, and nothing been the same since they dropped. Yeah. He says nothing been the same as someone sensitive, and they tuck him in. Sounds like he's talking about Drake. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious who he's talking about.
I think that's clear,
even just the sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes, I was like, yeah, that's Drake. Immediately, that's Drake. And I mean, Drake was the only one that was sensitive about the initial Control, disses or whatever. He was the only one that was really that.
He's also had that reputation of being like a really sensitive guy for at least 10 years now. Like, there used to be a really popular joke format that went around all in like the YouTube comment section and Twitter about like Drake's, the type of guy to take a bottle of water and pour it out in the ocean so the water can be with their home or whatever, like that kind of shit. Drake's the kind of guy to go for like a high five and then lock fingers, that kind of shit. Like, for the longest time, he was like the joke sensitive guy.
I mean, he even like kind of leans into it, like Certified Lover Boy and like names like that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, exactly.
What's Drake the type of guy to get done laughing with his friends and then sigh and say, "I needed this"?
That one's so fire.
What was the line on Certified Lover Boy? Everyone was he said, "Girl, you say you a lesbian, I say me too."
Me too. Yeah.
That's so good. That's hilarious.
Oh, shit.
Okay, anyway,
that's right. I forgot about that one.
What a line, man. On Sway's Universe in October 2013 with Schoolboy Q, he called Kendrick and asked if the verse was about Drake. There appeared to be a bad phone reception the whole time, and Kendrick at first didn't reply, which could have been an intentional way of avoiding the question. They then asked again, and he responded that it was just them having fun as usual, for Schoolboy Q hung up the phone as he didn't want to be the one getting anyone in trouble.
That is some schoolboy shit, by the way. That is some like, what's all this like? Wasn't he there? Wasn't Schoolboy Q at the BET Hip Hop Awards rapping?
He was at the BET,
Kendrick?
yeah.
Surely he would know. Just say it. Anyway,
Drake did an interview with Vibe in 2014 and talked about how he felt baited by Kendrick. Quote, "Where it became an issue is that I was rolling out an album while that verse was still bubbling. So my album rollout became about this thing. What am I supposed to say? Nah, we'll be buddy buddy."
Yeah, so this is why the beef could have like kind of reached a new point for Drake, because he was putting out an album at that time, and maybe he felt slighted that all the conversation around that period of time was like
was about the beef.
Was around about the beef and the diss and stuff. Yeah. So maybe that's why it like bubbled up to this kind of degree.
He also spoke about how he only really saw Kanye West as his competition.
That didn't age well.
Yeah. Quote, "He's like the best. What an era to be a part of. I wouldn't want my competition to be anybody else. My competition is nobody else, by the way. It's just me and Ye. I still have work to do, but that's what it is right now." End quote.
Oh boy, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but this is a long episode, over 3 hours long, a lot of work. You need to be a pretty healthy person to make it through a 3-hour video, that's for sure. You need the endurance of an Olympian. That's why supplements are important. It's important to me that the supplements I take are of the highest quality, and that's why I use AG1. Unlike many supplement brands, AG1 conducts absolutely relentless testing to set the standard for purity and potency, which is what we like to see. C. That's because quality isn't just a buzzword for AG1, it's a commitment backed by expert-led scientific research, high-quality ingredients, industry-leading manufacturing, and of course, rigorous testing. At each step of the process, AG1 is there, and they go above and beyond industry standards. This sounds super simple, but taking care of your health shouldn't be complicated, and AG1 simplifies this by making it so there aren't a million different little pills and capsules to take throughout the day to optimize your health. Instead, it simplifies everything. Just one scoop of AG1 mixed in water every day, it couldn't be easier. It's just a massive simplification of the process. And as someone who can't swallow pills but can drink water, it's a game changer. And I trust AG1 because their ingredients are heavily researched for efficacy and quality, and every scoop also includes vitamin C and zinc to support immune health, which is, it's obvious, it's so important, and it truly is. That's in addition to everything else as well, your pre and probiotics, B vitamins, magnesium, and so on. It's this perfect combination of things that'll make you the best possible person. You'll wake up feeling fit as a fiddle every morning, thanking AG1 for putting you in that condition. You can go check out their ingredient list. It's extremely robust and really is an all-in-one solution to getting as many supplements into your body as possible so you can get through our 3-hour-long videos while staying in tip-top health. So if you want to replace your multivitamin and more, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first subscription at drinkag1.com/redthread. That's drinkag1.com/redthread. So go check it out now if you're looking to optimize your health, and you can use our links down in the description. Thank you so much for supporting the show by checking our sponsors out. It really does mean so much to us. It makes the show possible, probably more than you guys know. We truly do appreciate it a lot. Now, back to the show.
There may have been songs that are theorized to have subliminal disses towards each other in them. A user on Reddit, Adept Salad, listed 31 songs from Control from 2013 to Not Like Us, which was released just a few days ago. Since then, not even 24 hours later, another diss track from Drake released, The Heart Part 6.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this full, basically all the songs.
Yeah, it's a giant list of all the songs that have been compiled that may have like subliminal disses and stuff in them. We're not going to go over all of them because otherwise we will literally be here forever. There's over 30 of them. So we're gonna jump ahead to where the disses started to kind of bubble up into something that, we're seeing the effects of today, and that was with First Person Shooter, the song by Drake and J. Cole.
In October of last year, Drake released First Person Shooter featuring another popular hip-hop artist, J. Cole. It's widely agreed that this song was the catalyst for the current drama. J. Cole seems to fire the shots with the lines, "Pew, pew, pew, first-person shooter mode, we turning your song to a funeral." This is the first line in the song, and Kendrick responds to it with his first line, and his response, like that. Now, it's worth noting that we haven't really touched on it in a big way, but like the current beef started directly from J. Cole, like wanting to make a spectacle out of things, really. And then he immediately ran away from all of it. He made one diss track and then went on a 2-week apology tour, by the way. And hasn't been seen since.
He really just threw like two of the industry's giants into like a death match with each other and just dipped.
And then he just said, let them fight, and then watch from sidelines.
He was like the ref who stepped in like, all right, want a good clean one? No scrapping, no aiming.
Yeah, you know what he is? He's like fucking Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. He's just plotting from the shadows, like trying to clear out the ranks.
And J. Cole's another one who, like, it's kind of sad the reputation they have now, because I remember when like Forest Hills Drives came out, that was one of like my favorite albums. It still is one of my favorite like hip hop albums or like rap albums ever. Like I remember songs like Wet Dreams and stuff like that, like high school, like everyone talked about it, so it's kind of sad that kind of the persona that's been brought about now, but yeah, same with Drake.
So continuing on, love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey, or me? We the big three, like we started a league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali. Yeah, Muhammad Ali. He references Kendrick, K-Dot, Drake, Aubrey, and himself as the big three, as they have often been described as. Muhammad Ali is often referred to as the greatest fighter of all time. J. Cole is here saying he is the best of the three.
Yeah, so he's kind of also dissing Drake at the same time in that
who
very
he is
song
being featured on the song of.
Yeah. Which is Pretty funny.
And then it goes on. Dude talking about when this gonna be repeated. What the fuck, bro? I'm one away from Michael. Beat it, dude. Beat it. What? Drake, who performs this line, sits behind Michael Jackson on Billboard's list of artists with the most #1 songs on the Hot 100, with Michael at 4th place and Drake at 5th. He believes his legacy is comparable to Michael, at least in this regard, as he has accolades he can back up with it.
So this is where it really stems from, that line, specifically the one about, is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey, or me, arguing about who the best artist is in hip-hop. Let's just say that Kendrick Lamar did not like that, which is where the next song comes in, and that is Like That, which was a track by Future, Metro Boomin, and of course Kendrick Lamar. That's
really like the track that this started catching on. This is where everyone started paying attention.
Yep.
Kendrick Lamar featured on a song with Future and Metro Boomin titled Like That, which was released March 22nd of this year. He directly responded to what was said in First Person Shooter. These dudes talking out they necks, don't pull no coffin out of your mouth, I'm way too paranoid for a threat. So he's responding to J. Cole's line about turning songs into a funeral and gives them a warning, which is the don't pull a coffin out of your mouth.
Yeah, so that's that's a direct line. That's a direct reference to First Person Shooter's first line. That's why I included that quote when we were talking about First Person Shooter. The direct, reply to that, basically.
Yeah. I just really like the way Kendrick structures his lyrics. I think that's such a cool way of saying that. Don't pull a coffin out of your mouth is fire.
I'm way too paranoid for a threat is also good too. Like, I will kill someone over this.
That's so fucking fire. So then it goes on. Motherfucker, the big three, dude, it's just big me. He addresses the song title outright, saying that Kendrick and Drake are sneak dissing, and to him, there is no big three, just him on top.
Yeah.
Which was that was a line that went everywhere as well on Twitter, because it was pretty hard.
Yeah. He's just saying he's the best. Fuck Drake. Fuck J. Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even a conversation, it's just him. Another one. Dude, Prince outlived Mike Jack. Kendrick pushes back Drake with his line about Michael Jackson, saying that Prince outlives Michael, implying that his legacy will outlive Drake.
I think that's honestly Kendrick's weakest.
That's my favorite.
Oh, it's
no, that's my favorite one in that diss track. That's great because, Drake talks a lot about legacy and stuff like that. He compares himself to Michael in a lot of his older tracks and stuff like that. So it's like he has this legacy tied to him. And Kendrick's kind of like, yeah, well, he's dead. That guy died. Prince outlived him. What if that's me? What if I'm like Prince? It's like, I don't know. It's like a weird, it's a unique, humbling step into what Drake thinks.
I get that it's kind of smart to some degree, but I also just disagree with the fact because Michael Jackson did have more of a legacy than Prince ever did. 100%.
Yeah, but he's saying Prince physically, literally outlived.
Well, yeah, I guess slightly less impressive to me. I don't know. I think it's a pretty weak line personally, but you're free to have that opinion, Isaiah.
Another one. Dude, bum, for all your dogs getting buried, that's a K with all these nines he's gonna see at Pet Cemetery. This is Kendrick calling them out as dogs, canines, and the album that First Person Shooter was on is called For All the Dogs.
Yeah, just a pretty
that's
cool
that's also that's also a double entente because he said that's a K with all these nines, which is referring to himself, Kendrick, as K, and nines is in 9mm the gun.
Yeah,
so it works as both all these dogs and also me with the gun who's putting down the dogs. That's why they're going to see Pet Cemetery.
I also until you said that, I actually didn't even connect the K9s being dogs. I just immediately went to the gun one. It's always so deep with Kendrick's lyricism. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Glorb. Another.
Oh yeah.
another equal Pulitzer Prize winning writer for sure.
Absolutely up there in the conversation.
All right, now we come to when J. Cole graciously dips out of the Thunderdome with 7-minute drill, and I've titled the section. The 7-minute drill and J. Cole apologizing. So you know what you're getting into here.
On April 5th, J. Cole released an album called Might Delete Later, which I just want to say I think is a terrible fucking album name. That is like the cringiest shit.
Yeah, it is cringe, and it's also like, hey, I'm a coward. I might delete these. Which he does. He deletes one of them.
I will say this is the closest I've ever come to like hip hop fame, because in that album he sampled Hunter Meat Canyon. He sampled
That's
Wabbit
right.
Season.
I actually totally forgot about that.
In the beginning of a song, which means I am one removed from J. Cole now.
Yeah, now you have to release your diss track on J. Cole.
Yeah, that's where this is going. It's time for me to get involved.
You think J. Cole would fight back? Or do you think he'd immediately apologize?
I think, no, he'd probably be fine fighting any of us. Just not someone like
Kendrick. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Call me crazy. I think J. Cole is a better rapper than me.
No, I think you're better. I'm Team Isaiah.
I think it's close, but yeah, he might squeak it out in my eyes. So this album, Might Delete Later, included 7-minute drill, which he did in fact delete later. The song was a response to Kendrick's diss on Like That. Not even 2 days later, J. Cole apologized to Kendrick for the song at Dreamville Festival.
Oh god, it's so sad.
I moved in a way that I spiritually feel bad on. I tried to jab my friend back and keep it friendly, but at the end of the day, when I listen to it and when I see the talk, that shit don't sit right with me, with my spirit. That shit disrupts my fucking peace. So what I want to say right here tonight is that in the midst of me doing that, trying to find a little angle and downplay this dude's catalog and greatness, how many people here think Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest motherfuckers to ever touch the microphone? I ain't gonna lie to y'all, the past 2 days felt terrible, like it let me know how good I've been sleeping these past 10 years. We taken that song off of fucking streaming services. That's his apology.
What an apology. He couldn't sleep well after
Straight
the
up
fact.
like, I'm deleting the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't even go into the diss. Like, since you didn't really talk about the diss, I'll just go ahead and give like a brief mention on it. It wasn't like bad or anything. He wasn't even like super aggressive or mean. It felt like one of those really lukewarm disses of like the last 10 years where if someone did make a diss track, it was really kind of not like too bad. Like it wasn't really aggressive. It wasn't vicious or anything. It was really just kind of not that big of a deal, I don't think.
It was kind of like, I feel like it was pretty close to Kendrick's initial, the control
it was
line
just,
that started
really
this all.
subtle. Yeah, nothing too out there. Like it's nothing that it would get his ass beat over, I don't think, right? Like it's not something that I think would ruin
Not in a vacuum,
relationship
right?
for everything.
Not in a vacuum, right? But taking into context everything that's happening around this situation, I guess he felt like it was an even bigger deal because there was already beef brewing and heightened emotions, if you will. So maybe it seemed like a bigger deal. But even still, even if it was, I feel like this is pussy shit, right? Just deleting it.
Okay, hold on. Let me make as someone who is not at all qualified, let me make a slight conjecture on Cole's behalf, right? So some of Cole's earlier stuff was definitely along the lines of typical, like, I'm the best, everyone else can suck it, whatever. But then he kind of had this shift in music where, assuming he was acting in earnest, he was trying to be much more about, like, positivity, about, like, trying to help people get along than put other people down. On his albums, like, For Your Eyes Only and stuff like that, it seemed kind of like his mindset changed a lot. So when he has this song with Drake where all he really said was like, oh, we're like the big three, I feel like a king, whatever, not directly putting anyone down. So then someone strikes at him and he strikes back. Maybe it was in earnest where he's like, that didn't sit right with me. Like, I don't know why I want to fight to go on, so I'm deleting it. So maybe there was like a legitimacy to it. It still kicked off the fight between Drake and Kendrick, right? But maybe J. Cole was being earnest in stepping back. Like, I don't want that kind of energy.
That's super possible. I also just went back because I was curious. You're kind of right. Like, his line is almost just hyping all three of them up, and he's like, "Yeah, but I'm like kind of the best, right?" And then Kendrick's like, "Wait, wait,
what did you say?" I order.
Even then, it's kind of like all three of us are doing good. And Muhammad Ali, like, yeah, Ali's considered the best. But that can also be seen as a generalized statement of, oh, I feel really cool. I'm on top of the world, you know? Like, it's not saying that the other two are less than me.
He wasn't even really directly putting them down in any kind of conceivable way. And yet it kicked all this off, which is hilarious. Also, J. Cole is like 37. They're all like mid-30s. I think J. Cole's like 37, right? So maybe he's just, again, it goes back to him maybe trying to be a more positive dude. Maybe he realized this shit's pretty, corny and childish and shit. Maybe this is something that a 20-year-old rapper would do. And this isn't what I want
the
for myself.
album For Your Eyes Only is like about him talking about not only his children, but like his friends who have died and their children being raised, and like how he realizes he's setting an example for what the next generation's going to be. It's very different than wanting to fight other people who are famous, right? So yeah, I like to think that there was, maybe not, like you said, maybe not, maybe it's all just like, I don't want to get involved in a fight I started, but there could have, I think there could have been some earnestness to it.
No, I actually do think it is earnestness. I just think it's kind of like weak to start it and then dip out immediately as leave. Well. Yeah. Especially in a album called Might Delete Later. I don't know, it all just like seems really corny to me.
It's kind of like a guy walking into a room like, I'll show you who's never been boss. Like,
Anyway, this is where shit starts to get serious with Push-Ups by Drake.
The cover for Push-Ups, which is like it's a shoe size, is specifically a diss towards short people. Which is really funny because it's like because it's a US size 7, UK size 6 like shoe, I assume, right? So it's just like, haha, you're short, which is really weird. That's a weird way to open up, but okay. So
that's all he has against Kendrick. He's short.
Kendrick, like, often hailed as one of the greatest writers of our time, legendary. And Drake's like, sorry, can't hear you down there. What's that? You have to speak up.
It really shows how childish it is. But again, this escalates into an area where we're now talking about domestic abuse. And fucking, like,
it immediately gets worse. Yeah.
But it started off with height stuff. It's great.
Drake released Push-Ups on April 19th. He came for a lot of people in this song, not just Kendrick. The artwork for this song is a size 7 shoe label, a dig at Kendrick's height and small feet. It has been speculated that the title is a callback to a 2023 video of Kendrick doing prison push-ups.
Yeah, I guess. That's what speculation was. All right, this direct quote, this next line from the song, this is like super, what do you call it, like spinfoil hat kind of shit. That's kind of like wacky.
This is the red thread. This is what we're here for. This is the part that justifies 3 white guys talking about this for so long. The tinfoil stuff. So on tinfoil stuff, a line from the song: "You pussies can't get booked outside America for non. I'm out in Tokyo because I'm big in Japan." Okay, so in a video by What's the Dirt, the possible, not well-known jab behind this line is discussed. The implication is that Drake is more internationally well-known and more popular than the people he's talking about, besides Kendrick. It's also about a woman who goes by Just Tokyo. A few months ago, she posted on Instagram that she was at Drake's concert and also around his trailer, implying that she was possibly invited there by Drake. Then, a few months later, she posted a birthday celebration thanking her Free Bands family, which is Future's record label. Future is a big collaborator with Drake, who's recently been on the other side of Drake in the beef. Mm-hmm. And also clips from her at Future's concert and backstage with the jumper saying, "We don't trust you," which is, of course, a reference to the Future Metro album.
Mm-hmm.
She has been linked to Future for years. In this video, he highlights that Japan is actually one of Drake's weakest markets, so the line doesn't really make sense in the popular way, basically the implication is that Drake is having sex with Future's friends.
Yeah, which is like a really deep explanation for what is ostensibly 2 lines in the track. But I wanted to include that anyway.
Yeah, if he's not saying, it could be a double that like, oh, I'm really popular in Japan. It could also be, hey, you know that girl Tokyo? I'm really popular with her too, Future.
Yeah, I'm big in her. Yeah, basically, it all comes down to like dissing anyone associated with Kendrick now at this point.
Yep, I'll take the next verses too, because apparently I'm the Drake. I am the voice of Drake.
Yeah, you'll be the voice of Drake.
You're the Drake guy.
Great, yeah, awesome. That's what I get for saying headlines. I'm gonna smell a pie in the next room here in a minute and start floating in the air towards it. Like, another line from the song. I'm the hit maker y'all depend on. Backstage in my city, it was friend zone. You won't ever take no chain off us. Here, Drake has helped many artists get the highest chart-topping songs, endorsing and helping people like The Weeknd, Migos, Rick Ross, and many, many more. So he's kind of like OVO. Drake came up under Lil Wayne through Young Money, right? And then Drake starts OVO, and then he brings up a lot of people like The Weeknd, who are obviously, you know, now massive celebrities in their own right. So here he's kind of claiming that a bit, of saying like, oh, remember who made you. But now you have people like The Weeknd and Rick Ross who are making disses against Drake. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, bad feelings within the family.
It can't be overstated. It seems like everyone in the industry doesn't like Drake at this point. Like there is so much
even
beef.
People who he brought on.
Yeah. So much beef with Drake across the entire industry just for like shady, sneaky like shit that he's done against people that aren't really like super relevant to this case, like the Kendrick and Drake case. But it just kind of like shows how the mood in the hip hop industry towards Drake as well.
I'll also say that kind of unrelated to Drake, but speaking of like people bringing other people on, according to a Nardwuar interview, J. Cole is the guy who brought on Kendrick way back.
Okay.
According to an interview, Kendrick was with who was the other big producer? Not Diddy. He's the only producer I could think of because Red Thread. But who was the other producer back then who was working with all those guys? Anyway, I'll think of it eventually.
I don't know. I can't type. I don't have my keyboard.
Dre. Yes, Dre. Dr. Dre. That's it. Thank you. Cole was asked if he brought on Kendrick, and Cole was like, yeah, actually, I told Dre that there was this kid from Chicago he needs to take a look at, and it was Kendrick. So that's also kind of funny that this has happened now, because if you look at it that way, then Cole kind of put Kendrick on, and now the fight's happening between them two. Everyone is fighting each other. Everyone's turning on each other.
Yeah.
Another quote from Push-Ups. Extortion, baby, whole career you been shook up, cause Top told you, drop and give me 50 like some push-ups. Drake talks about how Top Dog, owner of Top Dog Entertainment, pushed Kendrick into a record deal, and whatever Top says, Kendrick does. The 50 number can also refer to how Kendrick apparently had to split 50% of his profits with Top Dog Entertainment. So he's kind of saying that Kendrick's not really his free artist because he has to do what the label tells him to.
Isn't that insane that this guy, Kendrick Lamar, is like one of the best artists working in the music industry, and he had to split 50% of his profits to his label?
Is that still...
Man. No, he's got his own label now, I think.
Okay, yeah.
The labels in the music industry are absolutely a scam. That could be a whole red thread in and of itself. A lot of major labels, especially like in the metal scene, they take 80% of everything, of literally everything. So a lot of bands make most of their money through doing like their tours, which is why so many of them tour all the time, and the merch that they sell at the tours. That's pretty much where they make all of their money. And they have these like 5 like album long contracts that they're just locked into for so long. Yeah, and they only get like 20%. It's crazy.
It's such a scam, man. Yeah.
It is a scam.
I'm glad that like bad stuff comes of it for sure. Like people talk about how like the music, especially rap scenes, get saturated with stuff like SoundCloud popping off. But I think it's overall a benefit when people can kind of represent themselves. Yeah. Because if you already have some following, you can't get taken advantage of that hard because you can just go somewhere else. It makes people be competitive with you.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that kind of thing's fading out. But yeah, back then you pretty much had to, because otherwise, how are you going to get music out, right? So yeah, I'm glad that doesn't happen as much now. But yeah, it used to be pretty bad. Another line from Push Ups: pull your contract because we got to see the split. The way you do in splits, bitch, your pants might rip.
What is this, SpongeBob? What is this line? So corny.
He's again referring to the split, the 50%
yeah, I know,
split.
But it's such a like we go from the like multi-layered like lyricism of Kendrick Lamar in the previous song, and then we come to Drake talking about your pants splitting or ripping. Like that's his association there in terms of wordplay. It's like so juvenile.
That's probably his best line, though. The way you're doing splits, bitch, your pants might rip. It's so good.
It's so dumb.
K dot, more like K not.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
I see London. I see France. I see Kendrick's underpants. Yeah.
Such a corny individual.
Another quote. You better do that show inside the biddy. Maroon 5 need a verse. You better make it witty.
Oh,
then
man.
we need a verse for the Swifties.
He's like Dr. Seuss of rap.
Yeah, what is this?
Oh, it's so funny.
I mean, the songs are good. Like, again, the songs are good. It's just like when you take the lines out of the song and
Out of
start like
context.
actually
Yeah.
interacting with them, you're like, holy fuck, is he 6? Like, what is this?
I like, again, my favorite thing Drake has dropped in this so far is Family Matters. I think it's better than Push Ups. But yes, some of these lyrics are pretty funny just in isolation. Obviously, there he's saying that Kendrick's making pop music, which is a wild accusation to come from Drake, right?
Yeah.
Another quote: "You ain't no big three." Okay, correct me. How do you pronounce her name? SZA. I always feel like
it's SZA.
SZA. Okay, thank you. You ain't in no big three. SZA got you wiped down. Travis got you wiped down. Savage got you wiped down. So SZA, Travis Scott, and 21 are all they all outsold Kendrick's last album. Drake is saying that Kendrick is not in the big three. Notice how he didn't mention J. Cole, implying that Drake doesn't consider J. Cole one of the best three. Maybe he lost respect for him after he apologized. Or, counterpoint, he isn't about to drag J. Cole back into the beat.
He should have. He wants peace. I'll let him have peace.
He should have dragged him back in, kicking and screaming.
Like J. Cole's crawling out the door and Drake's like, where do you think you're going?
You're getting back in here.
Pulls him back in. But yeah, he's saying that like Travis and 21 all outsold. I guess it would be Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, right? Mm-hmm. So he's saying Kendrick isn't even in the big three, much less the top one.
Yeah, that's the implication.
Then Drake says, "What's this? A 20v1? What's a prince to a king? He a son." So, okay, we have the setup for what Kendrick's going to use as one of the funniest disses when he makes the response to this. But at first he says, "What's this? A 20v1?" And then he says, "What's a prince to a king? He a son." So he's once again referencing the line Kendrick said about Prince outlived Mike Jack, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, if I'm the king and you're a prince, that makes you my son, disgracing him. And hence the whole diss there. When he's saying a 20v1, he's talking about, he's kind of accusing Kendrick of turning everyone against him, right?
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to tie it back into Star Wars, it's basically when it's like, you've turned them all against me, and then Obi-Wan says, you've done that yourself.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
It's actually crazy how well that works.
We were forgetting our white heritage there for a second. I'm
glad bring back
brought it back around.
We got to relate everything in here to Star Wars somehow.
But yeah, he's saying, he's accusing Kendrick of like Weeknd coming at him, Rick Ross coming at him as all being his doing. That's why he's saying it's a 20v1, but he's saying he's still the king. And then he says, "I be with some bodyguards like Whitney," which is a reference to the movie The Bodyguard, which stars Whitney Houston. The movie is about a bodyguard who is hired to protect Whitney Houston, and they fall in love. Kendrick's wife's name is also Whitney Alford, and Drake implies that Whitney has been previously domestically abused by Kendrick, thus requiring bodyguards. So He's saying that Kendrick's Whitney needs a bodyguard, just like the movie Whitney that needs a bodyguard.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
This next line.
Yeah, this next line is good. Savor it.
To do it justice, Charlie, would you like to say the line?
No, I don't want to say the line. Why would you even put it to me? Just because I'm short? That's fucked up, brother.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant because I'm not going to say the F word in it, but it's really funny with the F word in it. That's why.
Give it to Jackson then. Give it to a neutral third party.
No. There you go.
I don't want to say it.
Let's phone a friend. Call like.
No, it's your people, Charlie. I feel like you should absolutely say it.
It's your people.
Am I even allowed to say it? Like,
I'm not allowed to say it either, Jackson. Nobody is. It's not a good word to use.
Drake was able to use it. Okay, well, we should clarify we're not talking about the N-word right now, by the way. There is a different word.
Sounds like we've been talking about the. What is the word that is used now, respectfully?
Dwarf.
I don't know. Dwarf? Yeah, dwarf. Or is that the?
Dwarf.
I thought that
feels worse.
Yeah, wasn't that the insulting
term? I think that is what the word is.
No, that is. I think it's dwarf or little person.
Little person makes. Geez, they're also like dehumanizing almost.
There's no good way to do it, because when it's not that, they try to make it too cute, right? Like little person, small people, like just. Yeah. Well, okay. Whatever. The quote. He says, "Top say drop your little short person ass better." So he's calling him. He's calling Kendrick a little person. Like after everything he just said, he goes back to the height. Like he goes back to Kendrick being short, which is wild.
Just to point it out, we're not saying it because we're respectful to short kings, but Drake, on the other hand, used the M word there. He used it himself. So
is that what you say? The M slur?
I don't fucking know what you say, man. Everything's changing.
It sounds like the word budget, but with a couple letters at the beginning switched around.
Is it offensive? Fuck, I feel like we're being.
I don't. We might be overthinking it actually at this point. I don't know.
It might not matter at all. I don't know. I just make YouTube videos.
I'm not risking it. Anyway,
all right. He then says, "And that song y'all got did not start the beef with us. That shit been brewing in a pot. Now I'm heating up." So he's saying that the feud between Drake and Kendrick has been going on for years. Drake is saying that the song Like That wasn't the start, but had brought it to the surface. Basically, like this has been a long time coming. He also says, "I don't care what Cole think. That dot shit was weak. Champagne tripping. He is not easing up." This could be a jab at J. Cole, who deleted his diss track to Kendrick and apologized to him publicly. Drake is saying he won't do that. Also, notably, Drake didn't mention Cole as he listed top 3 artists. So this whole thing kind of implies that maybe Drake's got beef with Cole now.
A little bit, yeah. He sees him as a little bit weaker than he was.
Because he says, "I don't care what Cole think. I think it's weak." So he's kind of like, so if not directly dissing him, he's saying it was like a weak move to delete the diss, basically.
And to give Drake a little bit of credit, at least he didn't run away, tuck his tail between his legs and run away. At least he's trying to come back in some capacity.
Yeah. And then he says, "What top 5 you smoking on, Kendrick?" So sample from DJ Academics on a live stream. Academics is a popular live streamer who covers news and everything to do with hip-hop. He is in communication with Drake and is known for being a big fan of Drake. Wait, the actual line, "What top 5 you smoking on, Kendrick," was a sample from Academics stream?
It was a sample used from DJ Academics.
Okay, so DJ Academics, for those that don't know, has been some people really like him, other people kind of view him. Lolcow would be a bit much, but they have a lot of laughs at his expense because of how much he likes Drake. Like anything Drake does, he's like, "Oh, he's the greatest artist alive," whatever.
A lot of you have probably seen a couple of his memes. Like he's got that really popular one. "If I had to name the top 5 artists, it'd be Drake, Drake, and Drake." And then it cuts to him listening to Drake's newest album and he fell asleep.
He fell asleep, yeah. I got that coming up. I mean, I think it's directly referenced in one of the disses coming up.
So that is the stuff that we're looking at from push-ups. So basically, Cole starts the fight and then Cole's like, "Actually, I take that back. I apologize." Kendrick makes a diss, and then Drake comes back with this. So then, where do we go from there? We go into the tailor-made. I guess since this is also Drake, do I keep talking about it?
No, give this one to Jackson, though. This one is so fucking stupid. I want Jackson to cover it.
All right, so this is tailor-made freestyle, and Charlie's right. This is like the one song where I listened to it, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this? Drake released another track, Tailor-Made Freestyle, on April 19th, so same day as well. This track received a lot of criticism as he used AI to falsify the voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg. He was forced to take the song down after Tupac's estate threatened legal action. Snoop Dogg made an Instagram video reacting to this in a state of confusion, appearing as if he had no idea Drake had planned this. He didn't say anything in particular, just, quote, "They did what? When? How? Are you sure?" Like he had just woken up. Classic Snoop Dogg. And then
what's crazy is Snoop Dogg's not even dead. He could have like asked him to feature on it if he wanted to.
Yeah. How insane to be like, you know what's gonna change the people's mind if I use the voice of Tupac to speak for me?
Yeah,
like
what? It's unhinged. It is. It's super unhinged. So this is the. I'm not quoting Drake here. I'm actually quoting the Tupac AI. These are the lines. "Kendrick, we need ya, the West Coast savior, engraving your name in some hip-hop history. If you deal with this viciously, you seem a little nervous about all the publicity." So here Drake's using Tupac's voice to push Kendrick into making a response. In an old interview, Kendrick told of a dream he had where Tupac spoke to him and basically encouraged him to keep creating music. So Drake's doing a little bit of trolling here using the old AI modulator. Using Tupac's voice to kind of egg him on, trying to push him into responding, making his own diss track. I don't know why, because Drake had to know that this wouldn't have ended well for him, right? Surely.
Well, it sounds like he was doing it as a bit of a jab to like Kendrick's whole like, oh well, I feel like Tupac's inspired me to make music. So now he's like in the voice of Tupac, like, go ahead, Kendrick, make music. Like he's making fun of his inspiration, you know?
Yeah, it's just still super dumb, though.
It is super dumb. I also think he's kind of making fun of Kendrick's kind of West Coast savior kind of complex that he's kind of got. Like, he's kind of playing into that a little bit as well. Then the next line is, "Fuck this Canadian light." Oh God, I don't know. fuck this Canadian light skin dot. I don't know what is like offensive or not.
Yeah, that was fine. We're quoting. We're not calling him that. Yeah.
Plus, Drake's the one that wrote this as well. "Fuck this Canadian light skin." Yeah, he wrote it about himself. Yeah. "We need a no-debated West Coast victory, man. Call him a bitch for me. Talk about him liking young girls. That's a gift from me." Like, what the fuck are you doing, Drake?
Wait! I didn't realize this. In Drake's, this is still the Tupac AI voice, right?
Yeah, Drake's saying like
so Drake's song. He made Tupac say, "Hey Kendrick, talk about Drake liking young girls."
Dude, that's a gift from me.
Yep.
Heard about it on the Button podcast. It's got to be true. You know what it is? It's absolutely just Drake trying to get ahead of it because he knows that Kendrick's going to use it. So he's just like...
He knew.
He's trying to play like 4D chess or whatever, but it just looks weird.
This is literally what O.J. Simpson's defense team did to the prosecution with the glove.
Oh yeah, true.
I bet you won't get him to try on the glove. Bet you won't tell him to do that. Yeah.
He's trying to look like the 4D chess mastermind, but all he's looking like is like he likes young girls.
Self-reporting. Yeah,
self-reporting. Yeah. So Drake's bringing up topics that Kendrick might use against him, even the rumors being spread that he has inappropriate actions with younger girls, which we're going to get into it later. And then the next line. "Now you about to give this shit another week and fall back so homegirl can run her numbers up? I would have refused." And this is a reference to Kendrick delaying the release of his song, his clapbacks, due to the Taylor Swift album that just dropped, which was Tortured Poets Department. So he's insinuating that Kendrick's such a industry shill that he's being told to like hold back on his responses until Taylor Swift's albums are out. Which I mean, maybe because there is the whole
possible,
the whole stuff before about like the labels kind of controlling Kendrick in that way. So I it's not impossible in my opinion, especially since he did start like clapping back really fast after Tortured Poets Department came out, after Taylor Swift's new album came out. So there is a little bit there to support that claim, I guess. The next quote is from Snoop Dogg AI, the Snoop Dogg AI, who says, Nephew, what the fuck you really about to do? We passed you the torch at the House of Blues. So this is a reference to in 2011, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre passed the West Coast rap torch to Kendrick Lamar, which was an incredibly emotional moment for him. I think there's like video of him like receiving the torch and crying on stage about it and stuff like that. He's saying that Kendrick let Snoop Dogg down though. So again, like Snoop Dogg's alive though. Like he could have just, I guess maybe he knew that Snoop Dogg wouldn't do this. Like he wouldn't have, he wouldn't have been a part of this. It's so pathetic though. Like really, really weird stuff.
Did he do it in New Orleans too? Is that what the House of Blues reference means?
Well, it would have had to be on the West Coast, right? So maybe there's a House of Blues out there.
That's what I'm confused about. I'm like, wait, why was the West Coast thing at the House of Blues? But whatever. Continue.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look into that. The next one is, this is from Drake, no AI now. Shitting on you guy from a whole different altitude, high up in the sky like I'm Howard Hughes. This is a reference to Howard Hughes, obviously, who was an aerospace engineer, business magnate, film producer, investor, pilot, and philanthropist. He's one of the richest people in the world. So Drake is saying, I'm on a different level.
Why are you breaking that line down? That one didn't need an explanation at all.
We kind of went a bit overboard breaking down everything at this point.
Now we're explaining Howard Hughes. Okay.
There might be someone out there who doesn't know how Howard Hughes fits into this, but now you know. He was one of the richest people in the world.
You're right. Now we need the Howard AI and the Kendrick diss. You're not me. That's ridiculous.
The next one is, this is from Drake again. The next one is really about to bring out the coward in you, but now we got to wait a fucking week because Taylor Swift is your new top. And if you're about to drop, she got to approve. This girl really about to make you act like you're not in a feud. She tailor-made your schedule with Ant, you out of the loop. So Ant is Anthony of Top Dog Entertainment, so the label head of that label. He's talking about how he's being pressured by the labels into delaying until after Taylor Swift's album release again. And then another one, since like that your tone changed a little, you're not as enthused. How are you not in the booth? It feel like you kind of removed. You trying to let this shit die down? Nah, not this time, guy. You following through. So in this line, Drake saying that Kendrick is repeating what happened with Control. This is a callback as well. So with Control, where the verse he did on that track solidified him in the hip-hop scene and helped to propel his career, but Drake won't let this happen again. So he's kind of like, remember how back when Control came out, Drake came out and he's like, you should have gone harder, basically. Like, you should have finished the job. Mm-hmm. So that's a callback to this. Like, you're not doing that again. You're going all the way. You're coming back with a diss track against me. You're putting your words, into song, and you're fighting this fight. He's like really egging him on, which I bet he now regrets. Like, how could you not regret that?
Yeah, I can't imagine he's super excited that he did this now.
Yeah. Do you think he thought that Kendrick just wouldn't come back?
I really think he expected Kendrick to roll over, which I don't know why he would think that.
If I'm being honest, like if we look at it objectively, maybe not, because both of them are more relevant right now than they have been in a long time.
Yeah, but right? Drake's relevant for being a pedophile. Like that's not a good
that's
thing.
The worst.
I don't know. I don't know if that'll be enough to affect him. I don't know. Like I don't know if the mainstream opinion is that he is, or it's like, oh, it's just they're both famous. And now, like, here's a diss track against him or whatever. We don't know the long-term effects of it, sure, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel, so sad, I don't know. Call me conspiracy red thread brained, but sometimes I feel like a lot of it is coordinated PR. Moves
I said this. We were talking about this on the official podcast the other day. But there's like a conspiracy going around that this is all like orchestrated and there's actually no bad beef between them. They're just using it to like kind of prop everything up, the industry up in that way, which, I mean, I don't believe it. It seems like there is actually some bad blood between the two of them. But also like, I'm so just like disillusioned with all kinds of corporations and all these rich people and stuff that it wouldn't,
that's basically what I'm saying.
It wouldn't necessarily surprise me, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. I just feel like it'd be a tough thing to convince Drake to do on purpose to be labeled the pedophile.
There could have been a level of that where Drake's like, hey, this is good for business. All right, Kendrick, let's see what you've got. And then Kendrick comes back with like the Predator stuff and Drake's like, oh, but okay, maybe not that far.
I thought you were going to show me before you released it. I thought we would have had.
I was gonna have to. I thought this was gonna go through an approval process with my team.
What the fuck? But maybe he's approved. Like his team hates him so much that they just approved it on site. They're like, yeah, that sounds good. Get it out there. All right. So final one. Another quote. Yeah, shout out to Taylor Swift, biggest gangster in the music game right now. You know, I moved my album when she dropped. I said that already. You know, she about to Millie run through a Millie rock on your head top. Well, she got the whole PP Lang on mute, like that Beyonce challenge. Y'all boys quiet for the weekend, like. Dot, I know you're in that New York apartment. You're struggling right now. I know it. In the notepad, doing lyrical gymnastics, my boy. Like, come on. Your lines aren't hard enough where you should be like condescending to like Kendrick Lamar's writing process or anything like that.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, you literally just pulled a SpongeBob before with the rip pants. Like, come on. Kendrick is running circles around you in terms of lyricism. That much is
I know
obvious.
You're struggling with that notepad. Let me give you a fresh one here. Roses are red, violets are blue.
Also, what's with this like sucking up to Taylor Swift as well? Like just constant talking about Taylor Swift. He's like, yeah, I moved my album when she dropped. I said that already. Why aren't you saying that? Like, what isn't that kind of like hypocritical? If he's saying that he moved his album out of the way, but apparently Kendrick's the bad guy for also like making room for Taylor Swift.
Is he saying that? He's saying he moved his album?
Yeah,
Drake?
He says right here. Drake says, you know, I moved my album when she dropped. I said that already.
Oh, you're right. That went right over my head. Okay, so I guess, yeah, he's done it in the past and now Kendrick's doing it?
Yeah. It's a weird level of like hypocrisy there to me. Like,
yeah.
You're outright saying that you're doing the exact same thing he did, but you're giving him shit for it. Really weird. The note here is Kendrick only months ago purchased a New York apartment, and Drake is hinting that he could have bought it because there was trouble at home with his fiancée. So he's kind of saying like, you've left to New York alone, you're struggling in your apartment alone, your relationship with your fiancée of like 8 years is on the rocks. Just giving him shit about that kind of stuff. But this is where it gets bad for Drake. This is where it kind of shit goes next level in the Drake world, because Kendrick, unfortunately for Drake, hit back, and he hit back hard with a song called Euphoria. If one of you wants to take it.
I'll take it, I suppose. So Kendrick Lamar released Euphoria on April 30th, and some think that the title is a hit at Drake being an executive producer on the show Euphoria, which explores really dark themes with mostly high schoolers, which Drake loves.
A little bias in the reporting there, are we, Jackson?
Yeah, a little bias in there, but to be fair, Drake was on Degrassi, which is a show about like high schoolers and all that shit, right?
So he loves the show with high schoolers because of nostalgia. Yeah, that's what it means.
Better times for Drake.
It was released at 8:24 a.m. PT, which actually related back to Kobe Bryant's jersey numbers. They were friends, with the duo giving each other compliments on television interview in 2017. People have also found significance with the day it was released, April 30th, on the day it was released, April 30th, 1945, Hitler died. Drake has Jewish roots, with his mother being Jewish. It is also National Honesty Day, and it is the Day of the Child.
This is the kind of conspiracy theory I was excited for. Yeah,
that is a super fucked up reference.
He released it
true.
The day Hitler died. Let's go.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up if true. Like if that's intended.
So let's go through some of the lines. This line sounds like gibberish. I don't even know how I'd read that out. But it's
backwards.
Yas yet Guinea derivative. That was pretty good.
Yeah, and when you put it back in reverse, it reads, "Everything they say about me is true." It comes from the movie The Wiz, a retelling of The Wizard of Oz. The full line goes, "Everything they say about me is true. I'm a phony," and is spoken by the wizard when it is revealed he is not from Oz. So Kendrick is calling him inauthentic or phony.
Hey, real quick, editor, can you play my line reverse now to see if it actually matches up with everything they say about me is true? I want to know how close I got in the final edit. I just want to say.
Oh, that's cute, yeah. Them superpowers getting neutralized, I can only watch in silence. The famous actor we once knew is looking paranoid and is spiraling. Drake started as an actor, Kendrick emphasizing that Drake is an actor, an entertainer, a performer, and entirely inauthentic. Fabricating stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale, a pathetic master manipulator. I can smell the tales of you now. You're not a rap artist, you're a scam artist with the hopes of being accepted. So it's Kendrick implying that Drake desperately wants to be accepted into the hip-hop and black community. I make music that electrify him, you make music that pacify him. Drake used a sample from DJ Academics in his song Push Ups, which we just talked about. And in that same stream, Academics fell asleep listening to Certified Lover Boy from Drake twice. And Kendrick talks about that here.
Yeah, it's so funny. You see what I mean, though? Like, Kendrick's lyricism is just so much more interesting and so much better than Drake's.
It is so much deeper. It's not even close.
Yeah, there's like been no like jokes based around like really, really basic shit like height. None.
Whoa. Okay, to be fair though, there is lines coming up pretty soon in some of Kendrick's disses where it's like, I hate the way you dress, I hate the way you walk, I hate the way you talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least it's surrounded by like actual substantive lines.
I agree. I can double down on that line, but spare you this time. That's random acts of kindness. So he's talking about that line, the reference to pacifying them, and also relating to underage people because babies use pacifiers. Wait, is that your interpretation, Jackson?
That's my interpretation. That's what he said. I can double down on that line, but spare you this time. That's random acts of kindness. I felt like he was saying like, I can make that line go even harder, but I'll spare you this time. That's random acts of kindness.
Maybe, yeah. I guess I could see that.
That's what. Maybe it's just like I'm so brain broken now that I immediately associate.
This is
Drake
conspiracy.
with, like,
this is the red thread. It's conspiracy theory. So sure, why not?
Yeah.
That works.
I thought it was obvious.
Know you a master manipulator and a habitual liar too, but don't tell no lie about me, and I won't tell truths about you.
Still a
so
great
he's referring
line.
to Drake as a manipulator, doubles down on it, and meet the grams. And he's saying that Drake is lying about him in his lines, but Kendrick is only telling the truth.
I like that. That's a good line too.
Yeah,
I like that. Don't tell lies about me, and I won't tell truths about you.
Yeah, it feels like a very basic line, but it has a lot of weight behind it. Like I feel like that's a very cool line.
It also flows really well in the song.
Yeah.
Have you ever walked your enemy down like with a poker face? Have you ever paid $500 thou like to open a case? People think this ties back to when Drake paid a 6-figure settlement to someone who accused him of sexual assault. The woman, Laquana Morris, settled in court and was prohibited from ever repeating the allegations against Drake. Which I didn't know about until this song, by the way.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I mean, this is proven. Like he settled in court. So I mean,
yeah, it is a true thing.
Yeah. Drake's not a good guy.
Somebody had told me that you got a ring. On God, I'm ready to double the wage. I'd rather do that than let a Canadian dude make Pac turn in his grave. The ring he's talking about is one of Tupac's that Drake bought for $1 million. Kendrick is willing to spend more than that to bring the ring back to a rapper from the West Side. Yeah, Cole and Aubrey, no, I'm selfish. The crown is heavy, huh? I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. So, YNW Melly has been suspected of murdering his two close friends, YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie. So, Kendrick is going back to his metaphorical murdering of the others, saying he prays that Drake and J. Cole are actually his friends or else he'll take this further. I didn't know that one.
The way he phrases it in the song is earlier he says, I love him to death, and in 8 bars I'll explain that phrase. 8 bars in the song passed, and then he gets to the line, I pray they my real friends, if not I'm YNW Melly. So he calls earlier in the verse that he's going to explain what he means when he says he loves him to death. And then here he's saying that he's YNW Melly. So he loves him so much he's going to kill him, but he called that in 8 bars he will get to the explanation of that line. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, it's Kendrick. You can. You can. Yeah.
I don't like you popping shit at Pharrell. For him, I inherit the beef. So in a previous song, Meltdown by Travis Scott featuring Drake, Drake talks about how he melted down some jewelry that he bought that was originally Pharrell's, basically saying they're nothing now. Pharrell works a lot with Pusha T, who Drake doesn't get along with. Pusha T and Drake have history, with a similar public diss battle occurring between them recently, and Kendrick says that he doesn't like Drake dissing Pharrell and is taking the beef on instead.
It's also should be mentioned that in that beef with Pusha T, that's when Pusha T released that Drake has a kid that he hasn't told anyone about, and that's what led to Adonis being public.
Yeah, fuck all that pushing P. Let me see you push a T. You better off spinning again on him. You think you're about pushing me. He's Terrence Thornton. I'm Terrence Crawford. Yeah, I'm whooping feet. So Kendrick is referring to the beef between Drake and Pusha, with Drake, which Drake lost, at least to many people. Yeah. Terrence Thornton is Pusha T's real name. Kendrick is saying that in his feud, he's Terrence Crawford, professional boxer who doesn't fight often. And Kendrick also doesn't release music often, but when he does box, he rarely loses a fight.
Such a good reference as well. I love that line. Really good. Really cool shit.
I know some shit about dude that make Gunna wanna look like a saint. So Gunna is often looked at as a snitch in the industry, and Kendrick is saying he knows things about Drake that look even worse. Drake has been called a snitch before after he was robbed in 2019 at gunpoint. He cooperated with the police when it happened, and then in 2010, he told GQ in an interview that the robbery was a setup.
Oh, wait, I think 2020. Yeah, he went back in time.
Oh, okay. He time traveled.
That's how crazy this rap beef gets. He correctly called a robbery 9 years.
Yeah, that's
in the future.
No, wait, that shows how much of a snitch he is. He went back in time to snitch on something that hadn't happened for 9 years yet. That's impressive.
Can we arrest this man before he robs me?
Yeah. Jackson hated Drake. He was just making up. Yeah, he actually went through time to snitch on someone.
He's a time wizard. I don't trust him.
This ain't been about critics, not about gimmicks, not about who the greatest. It's always been about love and hate. Now let me say, I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress.
And that's
so
where
this line mimics.
That's where he lets the passion out. I think he just he couldn't help himself. I don't think.
This line mimics DMX, who, while on The Breakfast Club a few years ago, listed a bunch of things he didn't like about Drake, which were the same things basically.
Do you remember who was it that was on The Breakfast Club, and they were like, Drake, the guy that got bodied by Pusha T? That was shoot,
no clue.
Kiss Me Through the Phone. Who was Soldier Boy? Boy. Yeah, he went on The Breakfast Club a while back, and they were talking about Drake, and he was like, "You mean that guy that got bodied by Pusha T, Degrassi in a wheelchair? That guy?"
I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, it's gonna be direct. We hate the bitches you fuck because they confuse themselves with real women. And notice I said we. It's not just me. I'm what the culture feeling. So it's not just Kendrick's feeling. A lot of people in the industry and culture are feeling this way towards Drake.
That's such a wild diss. Yeah, those girls you have over, I don't like them either. I don't like anyone.
Yeah.
He's so mad. It's crazy.
How many more fairy tale stories about your life till we had enough? How many more black features till you finally feel that you're black enough? So this is a big line in the track, and other artists have mentioned similar things about Drake, like Rick Ross calling him a white boy. They call him an appropriator and not actually a part of the hip-hop sphere that he wants to be in. Drake has done a lot of collabs with incredibly important artists in the industry, and Kendrick is asking how many more he needs to do until he feels accepted. So that was definitely like a big line when this track dropped.
Yeah, wasn't it Pusha T's diss track, the cover for it was Drake in blackface? Like when he was younger, he did like a... Yeah, he more like the old cartoonish.
Yeah, it was like a really cartoonish blackface, like really, really bad.
Yeah. And that was Pusha T's cover for it. I saw it start making the rounds again after this came out, but yeah,
it's like really cartoonishly bad.
I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough. You gonna make a guy bring back Puff? Now let me see if Chubbs really crashed something. Chubbs is Drake's personal bodyguard, and bringing up Puff, P. Diddy, is a callback to when P. Diddy punched Drake in Miami in 2014. Drake didn't retaliate. It was later revealed that this happened because Drake took the beat for a song, 0 to 100, and P. Diddy wanted it, which is something I didn't know happened. My first one, like my last one, it's a classic, You Don't Have One. Let your core audience stomach that, then tell them where you get your abs from. So there's been a lot of rumors about Drake and he's about having many plastic surgeries done, including to make his abs more defined. People also speculate he has had a nose job and a Brazilian butt lift, and Drake's former friend Rick Ross has called him BBL Drizzy, which has become a big thing today.
It's funny, but like, how do you guys actually feel about this? I think this is actually like Kendrick's weakest stuff, like around the whole Ozempic and stuff. I do. I feel like everyone in the industry is on like Ozempic.
Yeah, but the whole point of this is to point out how like insecure Drake is and point out like how clownish he is and how desperate he is to be something he's not. I think it all plays very well into the themes.
But that again, like everyone, I feel like everyone in that industry is insecure to that degree that they would be using stuff like. I mean, it's rampant. In the
not in like the masculine, quote unquote bravado rap scene of it. Like, sure, and there's a ton of like actors and actresses and stuff on Ozempic and stuff like that. But a guy who like presents himself as I work hard for the body I've got. I work hard at music. I'm all it's all me. I'm just being me. That's why they take such offense to being called like industry dogs or whatever, or just doing whatever a label tells them, because their entire persona is themselves. It's being authentic, right? So he's saying that Drake is really inauthentic, but wants to play with the crowd that takes authenticness seriously.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's fair. That's a fair criticism. It's just more.
Whereas if you heard that someone like Billie Eilish or Taylor Swift was doing stuff with a label, you'd be like, yeah, sure. But if you hear that like Kendrick or Rick Ross was, it's much more offensive because that isn't the image they give across.
But they are. I mean, Drake is implying that Kendrick is just as
Drake is implying that, yes. Yeah. But I'm saying that criticism wouldn't work against someone who that doesn't really affect their image, like right. Taylor Swift, for example. Yeah.
V12, it's a fast one. Bow, 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 last one. V12 is referencing a cryolipolysis slimming machine used for removing fat and cellulite.
I think so, anyway.
I'm pretty sure he's just referencing the car.
No.
Like a V12 engine.
No, it's layered.
So now I'm curious. Are some of these just like your homebrew theories, Jackson?
No, why would it reference a car? V12 is a fast one. Like that's not. He was just talking about how he's like.
I mean, it could be a double. Like because he just got done talking about Drake having work done, and then he's like, "Oh, V12, it's a fast one." So it could be a double, meaning of V12, the car is a fast one, but V12, the procedure you get is a fast one. Maybe I could see that.
I don't know why we'd bring up cars though. But it's like this is Kendrick Lamar. He does this. He does like multi-layered, like really deep cuts. I feel like this is probably more likely than just a car noise. I don't know though.
Maybe. Yeah. Headshot for the year. You better walk around like Daft Punk. Telling Drake he has to walk around with helmets like Daft Punk because he's going for a headshot.
That one's pretty. That's less like subtle. That one's just obvious.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Remember, Top Dog, who the fuck they think they playing with? Even though not signed to his record label, Kendrick is saying that he is still on good terms with Top Dog. Yachty can't give you no swag neither. I don't give a fuck about who you hang with. And Yachty's someone who's been outed as a ghostwriter for Drake, also very successful artist in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the way you walk, the way you talk. I hate the way you dress. Surprised you wanted that feature request. You know that we got some shit to address. Joe Budden brought forth a theory that J. Cole and Drake may have invited Kendrick to be on First Person Shooter, but he denied because of the feud that had been developing over the past few years.
Yeah.
I even hate when you say the word dude.
No,
but that's just
you
me,
have to
I
say
guess.
N-word at that point.
N-word.
Like, you have to.
Yeah.
He's directly
right.
referencing it.
That's true. You're right. Drake is biracial. This and his upbringing have been contentious points across his whole career. Kendrick is bringing up that he believes Drake uses black culture when it is convenient for him. When I see you stand by Sexy Red, I believe you see two bad bitches. I believe you don't like women. It's real competition. You might pop ass with them.
Fire
It's so funny. The way he says it in the song too, because Kendrick does that thing where he makes his voice so funny. He's like, I believe you might pop ass. It's so funny.
Such a good line.
First time listening to that song, that killed me. That's so hilarious.
Kendrick is playing on Drake's masculinity, and people believe that Drake got plastic surgeries, and these are more often done by females. Drake may also be threatened by the Drake may also be threatened by the rise of females in the industry. Let's speak on percentage. Show me your splits. I'll make sure I double back with you. You were signed to a dude that signed to a dude that said he was signed to that dude. Try cease and desist on the Like That record. So Kendrick is hitting back at Drake for coming at him about his record deal and the 50% split, implying that Drake isn't really any better. People are also speculating he may have sent a cease and desist on Kanye West's remix of Like That. The repeating "signed to" line is also taken from Pusha T and Ludacris in previous songs of theirs. Drake has been known to order cease and desists on other songs, including ones Pusha T has worked on, adding to reasons why Pusha T hates Drake.
Mm-hmm.
That's ho shit. I got a son to raise, but I can see you don't know nothing about that. Waking him up, know nothing about that. Then tell him to pray, know nothing about that. Then giving him tools to walk through life like day by day, know nothing about that. Teaching him morals, integrity, discipline. Listen, man, you don't know nothing about that. Speaking the truth and consider what God's considering, you don't know nothing about that. Drake's son Adonis, who was only revealed when Pusha T revealed his existence a few years ago, released a song last year called My Man Freestyle. And Kendrick is mimicking the flow of that song in this section as Adonis goes like that. In this section as Adonis goes like that in the song.
Yeah. So this is just, this becomes a recurring theme as well with the Drake and Kendrick beef. Kendrick is just constantly shining a spotlight at Drake's inability to be a good father or a present father, in fact.
Yeah.
So that is definitely like a really big sort. I think it's like the most provable thing as well. One of the most provable things anyway towards being a hit towards Drake, because it definitely seems like he's just an extremely absent father that doesn't care about his children. So big hit against Drake there.
Ain't 20v1, it's 1v20. If I gotta smack dude that right with you, yeah, bring him out too. I'll clean him out too. Tell Beam that he better stay right with you. Am I battling Ghost or AI?
That sounds like a genuine question.
Yeah. That's so funny because Drake's song, he's like, everyone's coming at me. What is this 1v20? He's like, hey, 20v1 is 1v20 because you got 20 rappers or ghost riders I have to deal with at once. That's such a wild comeback. It's so great. And am I battling Ghost or AI? Hilarious
line, and it genuinely seems like a real question that he's asking. Like,
yeah, do I have to fight? Am I fighting the 20 people you have right for you, or the AI of Tupac you posted on Instagram?
Feeling like Joel Osteen. Funny, he was in a film called AI, and my sixth sense telling me to off him. So this one is the one that a lot of people started to be like, uh-oh, Kendrick made a mistake, because it seems like he mixed up the American pastor Joel Osteen for actor Haley Joel Osment, who was in movies Sixth Sense and AI. Some also think this is deliberate. Coming off the previous line, he purposely mixed up the person. Coming off the previous lines, he purposefully mixed the person up because he does not know who he's dissing, as Drake has multiple people writing for him.
So what do you guys think? Do you think he just fucked up?
I think he just messed it up.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think he just messed it up.
No. Because he doesn't just say feeling like Joel Osteen. Does he not say feeling like Haley Joel Osteen?
I don't think so. This is like copied, apart from the N-word, this is copied directly from Genius. So it's like the lyrics.
Yeah, he doesn't say Haley.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think it's just a fuck up. A pretty minor one to make, though, but it's not that big. Like, it's not a big deal.
It also, to me, proves... I mean, we already knew this because Kendrick, again, he's an artist. But to me, this proves that he's writing all these songs. Like, he's writing all of this. Because if he had, like, a ghost team or whatever, a ghost writing team, like, they would have picked up on that.
They would have been tracking it, yeah.
I thought... Because he says, funny, he was in a film called AI... And he's talking about Haley Joel Osment, who was in AI and Sixth Sense. But I thought that the Joel Osteen made sense because he just said, am I battling Ghost or AI? And then he says he's feeling like Joel Osteen because Joel Osteen is like a super pastor who often uses like prosperity gospel and stuff related to the Holy Ghost. So I thought that was a reference to the ghost line mentioned beforehand.
Yeah, and if it was just in, like, without this following line, it'd be fine. But he does directly mention two films that Haley Joel Osment was in with AI and Sixth Sense, so it just doesn't work anymore. At least I don't think so.
Yeah.
Don't speak on the family, Crody. It can get deep in the family, Crody. Talking about me and my family, Crody. Someone gonna bleed in your family, Crody. And this is a warning to Drake about bringing Kendrick's family into this. Kendrick also mimics a Toronto accent, and the word Crody is a term that originally came from Toronto as a way to address a friend. Also, Drake has a cat named Crody.
Yeah, good little... I got that from my Drake fan magazine. I wanted to include that one. It's a little fun piece of trivia.
Whoever that's fucking with him, fuck you and fuck the industry too. If you take it there, I'm taking it further. That's something you don't want to do. And he's telling Drake that he does not want to push or come at him because he will take it further, and just giving him a warning. Yep. And then he just says, we don't want to hear you say N-word no more. We don't want to hear you say N-word no more. Stop. And this is Kendrick speaking again to Drake, using black culture to benefit him. And Kendrick telling him that he should not say the N-word anymore. It's not his to use.
I'm not weighing in on that. That's up to their community. The next song is 616 in LA, which is, I mean, it's from Kendrick Lamar again. He popped them out real quick. Isaiah, you know what? You've done all of Drake's work this episode. How about you take this one? How about you see what the good side's like?
That's so sweet. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Okay, so 3 days after Euphoria, Kendrick released 616 in LA only on Instagram, and there is so much to unpack before even getting into the lyrics. He released the track at 6:16 a.m., which is a reference to how Drake has a theme throughout his music names with times of the day. He does a bunch of different songs, like I think it was like there's some time in Toronto, sometime every album will have like a time in a city, like a freestyle he puts in there.
Yeah.
So 616 is in reference to that. Father's Day in Canada and America is also June 16th. Euphoria, the show Drake was a producer on, first premiered on June 16th. Tupac's birthday is June 16th, and it could also be referencing the Bible.
Because of course.
With Proverbs 6:16 through 19. Which I don't know what translation you have here, but reading it, there are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community.
That's pretty applicable. I can see it.
The cover art for the song features a Maybach glove, hinting at Maybach Music Group, where the founder Rick Ross is also in a feud with Drake. There's also only one glove, like how Michael Jackson only wore one glove, and some are seeing the resemblance to O.J. Simpson and the trial moment with trying the glove on. Kendrick bought Jack Antonoff, who is a main producer for Taylor Swift, on all her recent works to produce the song, hitting back at Drake said in the tailor-made freestyle. Also, the picture itself is supposed to be a picture within Drake's house, right? That was the whole thing.
Yeah, I can't remember if you confirmed it, but the theory is that it's a picture of belongings of Drake's dad, I believe. Something taken from Drake's dad's suitcase. I think that was the theory.
Somewhat, yeah. Apparently, people thought that the picture came from inside of Drake's home. So the implication is that either one of Drake's friends, is like going behind his back and sending stuff to like Future's team to prove he's there. Because the main thing's the prescription bottles in the middle, right? Yeah. Like he's proving that this is stuff in Drake's home, or Kendrick has someone literally in Drake's home
living in his walls.
Yeah, living in his wall. I saw this skit a guy did making fun of it, where like Drake sees the release and he looks up and he was like, "How did you get this picture?" And there's like 3 random guys in his house. He's like, "Who are you?"
That's funny. Oh, we should mention right now, almost 2 hours into this recording, that we are recording on the 9th, or I guess it's the 8th in America, 8th of the 5th. So that stuff's going to happen past this point, and we might have to do a part 2 down the line. But I really doubt that all this is over. So there might be stuff that comes up that aren't going to be in this recording that have happened before it's released. So just keep that in mind. This is being recorded pretty recent.
So these are quotes from 616. It's survival. Survival could be a reference to Drake's song Survival, where he talks about his career and feuds with other rappers like Meek Mill. He says, Off-White, Sunseeker at the marina. Screw a Phantom. I like to buy yachts when I get the fever. So this could be a reference to a lot of things. Sunseeker is the leading brand of luxury motor yachts, but when he is saying off-white Sunseeker, he may be referring to Drake's skin tone and him, quote, seeking the sun, meaning his intent on getting more tan, coming back to Kendrick believing that Drake uses black culture for his benefit. Another line from that, trifecta, money, morals, and culture, that's my leisure. My visa, passport tatted, I show up in Ibiza. Lucalist dwellings in Brooklyn just to book me some pizza, but my children to sleep with the prayer. Put my children to sleep with the prayer, then close my eyes. Definition of peace. So he's emphasizing how he lives for peace and that his children and him follow a faith, which he is saying is in contrast to how Drake lives.
Mm-hmm. Drake bad man, basically.
yeah, Drake bad man. But the industry's cooked as I pick the carcass apart. Yeah, somebody's lying. I can see the vibes on AK.
Ack.
Even he
DJ Academic.
On Ack. On Ack. I can see the vibes on Ack. Even he looking compromised. Let's peel the layers back. So again, he's bringing up DJ Academic.
He's been brought up like every song, by the way.
I know. Yeah, this is probably the best shit of his life.
Yeah, he's loving this.
He is thriving right now. But
cut to him, he's asleep in his chair again.
Yeah, he's falling asleep. Ack was left shocked by Kendrick's song Euphoria. He also hints that Ack is one of the leaks close to Drake, something Kendrick alludes to often.
He took the photo.
So, he took the photo. He might have taken the photo from inside the house.
That'd be incredible.
Or he is just sowing the seeds of discord throughout, Drake's inner circle.
Yep.
Are you finally ready to play Have You Ever? Let's see. Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me? Fake bully, I hate bullies. You must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve
he's playing
it.
psychological mind games now. He's ruining
the
Drake's
cover art
life.
for the track is a picture inside of Drake's home.
Yeah.
How must that feel? And then he's like, you got people in there. You've got people whispering that you deserve this.
So funny.
And also, like the stuff we talked about earlier, all those guys, that's why he says, have you ever thought that OVO is working for me? A bunch of people who came up through OVO are now making diss tracks against him and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he says, can't Tootsie slide up out of this one? It's just gonna resurface, which is a reference to his commercial success. Kendrick saying that Drake falls back into his success and creating chart hits to hide things in his career. Which, what's the name of that track? Tootsie Slide? Where he's like right foot up, left foot slide or whatever. What's the name of that song? Tootsie Slide? I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
But anyway,
the name, and I can't.
The song where Drake said that, he's saying that he makes chart toppers in order to cover up everything else. It finally says, now you can't sleep. These images trouble you. Know the wires in your circle should puzzle you. If you were street smart, then you would have caught that your entourage is only to hustle you. So he's doubling down that Drake's got. Imagine, man, he hates this guy so much. He's sending pictures of his house. He's saying that people in his inner circle are spies for him. Like, man,
yeah,
insane.
Oh man, if I was Drake, I'd be so fucking paranoid at that time. I'd be like, what the fuck?
And what's the line Kendrick said that kicked all this off? I'm too paranoid for a threat.
Yeah, don't pull a coffin out of your mouth.
Yeah.
No, it's just crazy that this, even at this point, this all started from a line that was basically like, hey, all three of us are great.
Yeah, I know.
We all get along. Ain't that right, guys? Yeah. And then that dude immediately leaves.
So funny. All right, now we come to what I think is probably Drake's best track.
It is. It is by far his best one. On the same day after 616 in LA released, Drake dropped Family Matters. The video depicts the van that is on the album cover of Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City getting crushed. Sandra Graham, maybe in this song you shouldn't start by saying N-word. I said it, I know that you mad.
Okay, wait. So that Sandra Graham, which is Drake's mom, says that first line. Yeah. And then...
Yep, sorry. So, I should have clarified.
Yeah. So Sandra Graham says, maybe in this song you shouldn't start by saying... And then Drake like jumps in and says the N-word and says, I said it, I know that you mad. Which is kind of like immediately going against what Kendrick asked for in the last song. So
Yeah.
pretty direct there.
So Drake is immediately addressing Kendrick, who spoke about not wanting Drake to use that word anymore. I've emptied the clip over friendlier jabs. You mentioned my seed, now deal with his dad. I gotta go bad. Out here begging for attention. Say please. Always rapping like you about to get the slaves freed. You just acting like an activist. It's make believe. Don't ever go back to your hood and plant no money trees.
A lot going on there.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot there. So in Kendrick's album, To Pimp a Butterfly, it speaks about issues such as colorism, police brutality, and the African-American experience, and Kendrick has participated in protests about Black Lives Matter. Drake may be taking a hit here that it is all for show, and he's implying that Kendrick is a fake moralist. He references Kendrick's song Money Trees while saying that Kendrick hasn't given any money to where he grew up in Compton.
Man, that also like the level of thrilled I got, because I'm like, Drake's not gonna make like an actual like song over this, and then to start the song and hear that like all at once, I'm like, all right, I was wrong.
Yeah, this is gonna go far.
It goes pretty ballistic for sure. Like it is not friendly at all.
This is where it gets pretty insane. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
You the Black Messiah wifing up a mixed queen, and this is Drake saying that. Or this is about Kendrick, who's come for Drake for being biracial, but Drake rebutes the criticism by saying that Whitney, Kendrick's fiance, is also biracial. So Kendrick is a hypocrite.
Which is a wild thing to say. I mean, yeah, like you said, fair point, because that's what Kendrick's attacking him for. But to immediately be like, okay, your wife, she's coming into this. Here we go. Like, he's just, man.
Yeah.
Well, but he did already bring her into this, like in the previous song, kind of.
Yeah,
that's true. Maybe it was just the shock of hearing like sing song, all the girls love him, Drake say that. Like, just came out of left field. Yeah.
And hit Vanilla Cream to help out with your self-esteem on some Bobby Hill shit. I want to know what Whitney need. This can have a few meanings, going back to Kendrick on previous songs, talking about sleeping with white women and white women equals Vanilla Cream, saying he is a hypocrite. It's also clearly a subtle hit at Kendrick being a domestic abuser, hitting Vanilla Cream, his biracial fiance, which is something Drake alludes to often. All that puppy love was over in y'all's late teens. Why you never hold your son and tell him say cheese? We could have left the kids out of this. Don't blame me. You a dog and you know it. You just play sweet. Your baby mama captions always screaming, save me. You did her dirty all your life. You trying to make peace. I heard that one of them kids might be Dave Free. Don't make it Dave Freeze, because if your GM is your BM, secret BD.
That is insane.
Yeah. So the above line is Drake saying that Kendrick's manager and longtime partner in music, Dave Free, is actually the father of one of Kendrick's children.
Actually, like, wild.
A huge allegation, yeah.
Massive allegation.
And that last line's fun. If your GM is your BM, secret BD. If your general manager is your baby mama, secret baby daddy. Yeah.
You're a man, Lil K. We call this shit a mini Drake. He always said I overlooked him. I was staring straight. That's, again, insulting his height.
Falls back on the classics.
That's so funny. He's like, he can't let the height go. He has to call it short. That's insane. Charlie, can you and I get into like a fake like fight online so I can say stuff like that?
Yeah, you can say it just for fun if you want, I guess.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it. And you can talk about my numbers and stuff. It'll be great. It'll boost both of our numbers. It'll be awesome.
If Drake Shooter's doing TikToks, realest shooter in your gang, that's P's brother.
Wait. You can just skip over. He just says the N. The point is he says the N word in like 10 lines right now.
All of these.
Yeah. Which obviously, again, Kendrick, he's like just insulting Kendrick at this point by using it over and over again.
Yeah, we can just go through that because he uses that word a lot in each line to like close them out, and so it's basically just Drake rubbing it in his face that he's going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Good Kid, Mad City van will pop the latch and let the door slide. In Kendrick's album Good Kid, Mad City, the van on the cover represents safety. Here, Drake is saying that he can destroy it, as he does in the music video. K. Shit is only hitting hard when Baby Keem put his pen to it. suggesting that Kendrick's cousin, Baby Keem, is a ghostwriter for Kendrick.
The balls on this man, he like fucking what's his name? Drake is surrounded by ghostwriters, and he like puts it to Kendrick, saying that like someone else is writing
that guy
shit.
You've written songs with. I know he writes songs with you.
Get off
like,
it.
yeah. I will say also a second meaning to the line about we're gonna pop the latch and let the door slide is through Good Kid, Mad City. Kendrick's describing like how a lot of the gangs would like take part in like drive-by shootings and stuff like that. So popping the latch and sliding the door is how you open a van door in a drive-by shooting. So he's also implying that he's going to roll up on Kendrick.
Ooh, it's an actual threat.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy right now.
He's so salty. He's so salty.
This is just very sarcastic. It's just talking about his success. Like everything he says is gold. Yeah.
He's so salty, man. That's such a childish line.
Yeah. A cease and desist is for hoes. Can't listen to lies that come out of your mouth. You called the Tupac estate and begged them to sue me and get that shit down. So Drake denying that he sent cease and desist against songs like that, but instead is turning it around and saying Kendrick made Tupac's estate send one to Drake for tailor-made freestyle, which I think is probably a bunch of fucking baloney.
Don't know. I mean, Tupac's estate, didn't they send a cease and desist or something? They did get it taken down.
Well, no, he did get cease and desist. He's just claiming that it was Kendrick that... Yeah.
Which is probably not likely.
I think it's unlikely.
He's saying Kendrick called the Tupac estate and that's what got them in the know about it in the first place, yeah.
Your daddy got robbed by Top. You Stunna and Wayne like father and son. So in Kendrick's song Duckworth, he's spoken about the story of how his previous boss, Top Dog, had first met his dad, Kenny Duckworth. Kendrick's father worked at a chicken shop, and when he met Top Dog, he realized that Top Dog had robbed and shot up the store a year before. Knowing this, he tried to get on his good side and often gave him free food and was overly kind to him when Top Dog visited. This worked in his favor because when Top Dog robbed the store again, Kendrick's dad evaded danger. Wow.
And the whole song in Duckworth, he's describing how if he just hadn't have given him that extra food, then maybe there would have been a timeline laid out to where like Kendrick was never born or like he didn't come into the music industry and stuff like that. It's about because a lot of the album Damn is talking about like cause and effect, like you know how actions change over time. So that's like what the song Duckworth's about. But what Drake's saying there, where he says your daddy got robbed, you Stunna and Wayne like father and son. He's kind of implying that his dad was a bit of a lay down and take it kind of guy, and now he himself's in the same place.
You're laying
like
down
father, like son.
you're laying down and taking it from top dog again.
So he's equating Kendrick's dad's survival from a robber to how Kendrick now just lets things happen to him. Yeah.
From the same guy.
Yeah.
You write about fuck the big three. It's only Big D and there's video proof.
Jesus Christ.
Like I said, this was a pretty strong response from Drake, but that is a terrible, terrible line.
It's only terrible because it's so cringe that he actually is referring to his fucking dick pic or dick video.
Well, no, it's super cringe because it also alludes to the fact that he's proud of it, like that he's the one that leaked it. So he's what he's talking about is earlier this year, or maybe it was late last year. There was that video of Drake masturbating, like while filming it, and he's got like a massive meat hammer, like no doubt, but it like went all over the place, and he never really talked about it, I don't think. And now it's him like, yeah, that's Big D, and here's the video proof. So it just kind of alludes to the fact that he was the one that leaked it.
Or at the very least, he's extremely proud of it, which is like,
extremely happy it's out there,
which is like super cringe.
Our son should go play at the park. 2 light-skinned kids, that shit would be cute. Unless you don't want to be seen with anyone that isn't blacker than you. We get it, we got it. The blacker, the berry, the sweeter, the juice. Which is referring to Kendrick's song, The Blacker the Berry. And he is again saying that Kendrick is a hypocrite in these lines.
Mm-hmm.
When you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense because she's bigger than you?
There we go, back to the height again.
Woo!
Oh, man.
Yeah,
that's a heavy accusation to throw out there, right?
About putting hands on his wife.
Yeah, he's already made that accusation.
Is it self-defense because she's bigger than you? That's wild.
Yeah. He's already made the accusation before, though.
It's also like, again, not that this is any of my place to say, but just from what Drake's alleging, like Kendrick calling him like not actually black, and then Drake being like, "Oh yeah, that's wild coming from you with your wife. Anyway, our kids could play together like that." It's insane. It's insane. This all started with, "Hey, we're like the big three, right, guys?"
Yep, actually insane.
Why did you move to New York? Is it because you live in that bachelor life? Proposed in 2015, but don't want to make her your actual wife? I'm guessing this wedding ain't happening, right? Kendrick and Whitney have been engaged since 2015, but have never gotten married. And Kendrick recently bought an apartment in New York. Drake is saying this could all be due to infidelity within the relationship,
or at least like troubles in the relationship. I don't know if he's directly referencing infidelity there, but still troubles in the relationship.
Well, he is bachelor life, like that. That would be a direct reference.
Yeah, you're right.
And then this is the one that really stuck, and this was the one that had me go like, "Oh God." They hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen. The picture you painted ain't what it seemed. You're dead. So he's saying point blank this time that he beats her, and they'd even hired a crisis management team to clean it up, which is why no one ever heard about it, which is a massive, massive allegation.
Absolutely enormous. And again, like, man, if there is like actual proof of this and this did happen, then I mean, Drake kind of wins on that front, like as fucked up as it is to say winning in this context, but like that would be an awful blow to Kendrick's career. He would be an awful person, obviously, and it would be enormous. So, do you guys feel like there is like substance to this, or is Drake just pulling it out of his ass?
I mean, it's impossible to know. It's not like I've ever met Kendrick or anything, but there's no proof of it. There's no like history to pull on from it. Like there's nothing that would indicate that happened. Like there's nothing to go on publicly accessible.
Well, what if that's why they're like split up and he's in New York and stuff, which is confirmed?
I mean it is possible. Like again, no one knows them.
Yeah.
So
it would just be such an insane thing to throw out there without any kind of like, an actual belief that it happened, right? It would absolutely be extreme lunacy for Drake to throw that out there just blindly, just making it up, just lying about it.
Yeah, but it's also like Kendrick can't really defend it. It's one of those things where it's like, no, I didn't beat her. It's like, oh, he could just be lying. And even if she says like, no, he never beat me, it's like, oh, that's crisis management making her say that. So like, it's one of those things that's a very hard defense. So maybe he would just throw it out there for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, then he would be an obviously awful person for doing that as well. Like throwing out a straight up lie.
Well, he's an awful person for a lot of other reasons too.
Yeah.
All right, who wants Meet the Grams?
I want Meet the Grams.
Nice.
I want to put it in my blood. All right, so only a single day later, on May the 4th, potentially related to May the 4th, the Star Wars
Holy shit,
holiday.
I actually wrote this in the document.
Oh my God.
Star Wars is connected. It is. Holy shit, nice.
Wow, man.
We are white.
But you really had to. I'm glad you inserted more of our culture into it so that we can be represented.
That is actually, I forgot about that. That's insane.
Kendrick released Meet the Grams, a seething track addressing Drake's son, mother, father, and Drake himself. The track also insinuates that Drake has a hidden daughter. Drake immediately went to his Instagram and denied this claim, but there's very little proof or evidence for either assertion. The cover art for the song is the glove from 616 in LA, but now the picture is expanded. It also includes medication like Ozempic, which Drake has been rumored to use for weight loss. The picture also has jewelry receipts, other medication with Drake's name and address on it. DJ Academics also said on a stream that this cover art was stolen from a suitcase that belonged to Drake's dad. So the two options are, if Academics is right, then he's saying the art was stolen from a suitcase, as in the things within the suitcase.
I don't know. I still don't know. I don't know what he meant, honestly.
So Academics is either saying this is something that was stolen from him in the picture, or something, or if he's not correct, if he's just saying that to cover or whatever, then this is, again, as some people have alleged, taken from inside of Drake's house by one of Kendrick's spies, I guess you could say.
Regardless, I think that's the main. Either way, it's something that was stolen from Drake or Drake's father from an outside, influence. Mm-hmm. So there's that kind of like coercion, definitely.
So Kendrick opens right out of the gate by addressing Drake's son and says, "Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father. Let me be honest. It takes a man to be a man. Your dad is not responsive. I look at him and wish your grandpa wore a condom."
Pretty straightforward.
Kendrick he's speaking to Adonis, apologizing that his dad is Drake, and Drake's parenting has been called into question many times, and Pusha T has said that he neglects his son. In fact, Adonis's link to Drake only came to light when it was revealed in a set of drama between Pusha T and Drake, as mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Kendrick goes on to say, "Let me be your mentor since your daddy don't teach you shit. Never let a man piss on your leg, son. Either you die right there or pop that man in the head, son. Never code switch. Whether right or wrong, you're a black man." So Kendrick is offering to give Adonis advice, as Drake supposedly isn't a good father to him. It's also a reference to T.I., who once pissed on Drake's leg. He also tells Adonis not to be ashamed of not being black enough. So he's kind of saying, like, even though I question your sincerity in the culture, I'm not doing this to discredit your son.
Yeah.
In a way.
Well, his whole thing is Drake pretends to be black. Well, he builds himself up, or he over exaggerates his blackness to his benefit, basically. Like, he's not saying that Drake isn't a black man. He's just saying that he uses the community to his advantage without giving anything back. Yeah. Whereas Adonis hasn't done anything like that. He
says, "Don't cut them corners like your daddy did. Screw what Ozempic did. Don't pay to play with them Brazilians. Get a gym membership."
Good life advice.
Again, saying it's illegitimate, the accusations of the BBL, and also that he takes Ozempic to lose weight. Kendrick tells Adonis he doesn't need to cut corners and do all that. He also says, "Don't be ashamed about who you with. That's how he treat your moms." Kendrick saying that Drake was ashamed of Adonis's mom, but Adonis should never be ashamed of who he is with.
Yeah. So he's using, like, the literary tactic is talking to Adonis or family members of Drake, and using that to just insult him constantly about how he's failed all of them, how he's a bad person. And that continues with the next one with Sandra.
He's saying be nice to your women, unlike how your dad is not nice to your mom, basically.
Yeah, basically.
He continues by now speaking to Drake's mom, where he says, "Dear Sandra, your son got some habits. I hope you don't undermine them, especially with all the girls that's hurt inside this climate. You a woman, so you know how it feels to be in alignment." So he's speaking to Sandra Graham here, and says the climate for women is challenging at the moment. With rape culture, abortion rights, and more. He is telling Sandra that she should know how it feels and hope she doesn't undermine Drake's alleged issues with women.
Which, by the way, this is like actually wild to write and sing and perform if he is a domestic abuser as well. Like, that would be so insane if it actually does come out that he does beat his fiance. And he's like singing about this. He would be such a hypocrite, which is like wild if that is true. I don't know if it is true or not.
Yeah.
Just I don't know.
He then drags Drake's dad into it by saying, "Dear Dennis, you gave birth to a master manipulator. Even using you to prove who he is a huge favor." Which is wild, saying that Drake only uses his dad to prove that he's black. Which is a lot. There's also, like, Drake has a whole history with his father. Like, he was absent for a while and then came back. So people have alleged that, like, they only have the relationship because Drake is famous and stuff like that. So Kendrick's kind of calling back to that as well. He continues to talk to Dennis and says, "I'm blaming you for his gambling addictions." Drake's known to be a big gambler, as is his father. Apparently, Drake once won $27 million on a roulette online table, but lost all of it and walked away with nothing. Drake is a huge guy for, like, Stake and websites like that. He's known as a big gambler, and his dad is too. So he goes back to speaking to Drake's mom and says, "Sandra, sit down. And what I'm about to say is heavy. Now listen, your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think people like him should die. Him and Weinstein should get screwed up in a cell for the rest of their life. He hates black women, hypersexualize him with kinks of a nympho fetish, grew facial hair because he understood being a beard just fit him better."
Okay, so can someone explain that last line, what that means? Grew facial hair because he understood being a beard just fit him better?
Beard, if I understand right, is a term like John for men that pick up prostitutes.
Oh, okay. What were you going to say, Charlie?
I never heard.
Your one was like, beards look good.
No, I was just going to say, I also don't know exactly what that line was meant to be. but that makes sense then if that's real.
Okay, hold on. According to, this is Wikipedia, a beard is a slang term for a person who is used knowingly or unknowingly as a date, romantic partner, or spouse to conceal infidelity or conceal one's sexual orientation.
Can you dumb that down for me even more somehow?
Basically, a beard is someone who has affairs with people. Like, they're just a beard. They're just like a middleman to some sexual favor, so to speak.
Okay, well, that was pretty obvious in terms of like Drake actually doing that. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So he's saying grew facial hair because the beard fits him better, saying that he does that. Saying that he should just straight up die and comparing him to Weinstein and stuff. Insane.
Not only that, singing it to his mom as well. Like, hey.
To his mom, hey, saying your son should die.
Hey lady, your son should die. He's probably a pedophile. Like, actually, so hard.
Oh, there's also apparently a term. Okay, hold on. That a beard can also mean someone who helps another person hide their sexuality. Like, in other words, a man who dates a lesbian to appear as their boyfriend, right? Yes.
Okay.
Basically a cover.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
Yeah, which could be that as well. It's bad. Whatever it is, it's bad. It's an insult. Okay, yeah, he's saying it negatively. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's drawing similarities between Drake and Weinstein. He says Drake's a sick man who should die. He preys on women, all that stuff. He continues and says he got sex offenders on OVO, or as it's typed out here, HOVIO, that he keeps on a monthly allowance. A child should never be compromised, and he keeping his children around them. So this is straight up saying that OVO has sexual predators in it.
There are sexual predators in the house. Yes, they're saying
that kids shouldn't be around them, especially when he himself has kids, which is he is gunning for the whole boat at this point.
I mean, this is proven. Like, there are actual OVO members that have been like they've gone through the criminal system and being charged as sexual predators for like sex trafficking and stuff like that. So I mean, that's definitely proven.
Kendrick then goes full friend of the show red thread and said, I've been in this industry 12 years. I'm gonna tell you one little secret. It's some weird shit going on, and some of these artists are here to police it. They be streaming victims all inside of their home and calling them Tinder. So an artist at OVO, Baka Not Nice, has been charged with human trafficking and assault. Kendrick is saying here that there could be more, and that there could be more of that going on in the homes of Drake and the people around him. He's also saying within the whole industry, this kind of thing's allowed to go on because there's some people who allow it. Kind of like what we've talked about with like the Diddy stuff, right?
All of it,
like, it just takes a few influential people to normalize it for everyone else.
Yeah, it breeds that kind of, environment.
Yeah, and then he directly calls out the video of Drake and says, then leaks videos of themselves to further push their agendas, saying that he's the one who leaked the video of him, pleasuring himself, which could like further the idea that sexuality and there's common, or just trying to push sex appeal or sex normalcy. So Kendrick's tying all of it into some grand conspiracy.
Yeah, he's trying to push his cock agenda. Drake's big cock agenda.
Yeah, which Drake himself highlighted on Family Matters.
Yeah, he did.
Keep it by.
He confirmed it.
He then says, to any woman that be playing his music, know that you're playing your sister, or better, you're selling your niece to the weirdos, not the good ones. Cat Williams said, get you the truth, so I'ma get mines. The embassy about to get raided too. It's only a matter of time. So the embassy's Drake's home, and Kendrick is saying that there's stuff going on there that will warrant his home to get raided, which also relates, of course, to the P. Diddy case, which link in the description.
Yeah.
Go if you want to know the rap industry sex scandal. Now, he's also mentioning Cat Williams here, who went on the interview lately and talked about all the weird stuff that goes on in the industry.
Yeah. Also, there's another kind of theory going around that Drake was the one that put out he ratted P. Diddy out, and that's why P. Diddy's house was raided, which is why Kendrick called him a snitch earlier on. And that's actually that's actually bolstered by some online, I don't know if whistleblowers is the right term, but there's a lawyer, a criminal lawyer over in California that operates like a whistleblowing site, kind of, where he like leaks that kind of stuff, and he's basically like confirmed that connection. I didn't have time to investigate all of that, but it seems like there's some kind of like credence to that theory.
He continues on and says, "Hey, LeBron, keep the family away. Hey, Curry, keep the family away. To anybody that embody the love for their kids, keep the family away. They're looking at you too if you standing by him. Keep the family away. I'm looking to shoot through any pervert that lives. Keep the family safe." So he's telling all of his NBA friends to not bring kids around him.
He's one step away from standing out the front of the embassy with a picket sign that says pedophiles inside.
Krusty Krab is unfair. Drake is in there.
Plotting his oppression. He also, after addressing Drake's son and parents, now addresses his supposed daughter that up until this came out had never been spoken of publicly to my knowledge. So he says, "Dear baby girl, I'm sorry that your father's not active inside your world." So again, if this is true, then Adonis came to life because of a Pusha T diss track, the story of Adonon or Adonis. And then Kendrick is now saying that he has a daughter.
Yeah.
He says, "Instead, he be in Turks paying for sex and popping perks, examples that you don't deserve." So he's saying that this daughter, that Drake is not active in her life because he says Drake often goes to Turks and Caicos, where, as mentioned, he pays for sex and drugs. And he's saying that this is a bad example for his daughter.
Well, he's saying that, like, I'm sorry that your dad's not in your life because he instead values going to these islands and, popping pills and having, cheap sex and stuff like that. Like, I'm sorry that your father is just such a piece of shit, which is completely fair.
He then says, "His father probably didn't claim him neither. History repeats itself. Sometimes I don't need a reason, but I would like to say it's not your fault that he hiding another child."
Mm-hmm.
So on 0 to 100, Drake talks about how his father would say that he would come to see him, and yet he never showed up. His dad said this. His dad has said that this is a lie to sell records, but Drake has always said that his father was never around. So again, kind of a disparity in the history if Drake's father was absent or not. So Kendrick's saying that this is history repeating itself because Drake, is not there for his daughter.
Yeah, Drake's dad needs to come out with a diss track against Drake at this point.
Oh, can you imagine? That'd be the craziest twist.
If oh my god, if Kendrick collabs with Drake's dad on a track. Or his mom. Oof. Oh my god, that would hurt Drake so much. That'd be insane.
There's also a lot where Drake like in the album Take Care, there's a lot of mentions where he talks about how his parents weren't around and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of a recurring theme. So Kendrick's saying that this is it's history repeating itself because now he's being a bad dad.
Yep.
He also says, "And a deadbeat that should never say more life. Meet the Grams." So More Life is the name of one of Drake's albums released in 2017. It is used here to say Drake should never have another child as he neglects his already existing children.
Such a fucking hard line.
He's a deadbeat that should never say More Life. I liked More Life, I think. My favorite album, I think, of Drake's ever was either Take Care or If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. But More Life was still good Drake, in my opinion. He says, "Dear Aubrey," so now he's speaking directly to Drake. He's gone to everyone else. He's now talking to Drake. "You screwed up the moment you called out my family's name. Why you had to stoop so low to discredit some decent people." So this is referring to Drake talking about Whitney. And Kendrick's like, that was the final straw. That's why I've got spies in your house. That's why I got people going in.
Did he even discredit Whitney, really? It was more like he was discrediting Kendrick by saying he beats Whitney.
If Drake is lying about it, that's also bringing your wife.
Yeah,
if someone
true.
said that I beat my wife, it's not only saying I'm abusive, it's saying my wife is like a victim and isn't saying anything about it or is allowing people she cares about to be there. It discredits the relationship and both parties in it, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's also kind of implying that if this is true, that's implying that Whitney is kind of putting on a front and lying for him to the public, to, family, friends, stuff like that. Which, sure, you could say that she's a victim and that's why she's keeping it safe, but it's still calling her persona into question.
Yeah,
right?
That's fair.
"I tried to empathize with you because I know you ain't been through nothing. Crave entitlement, but want to be liked so bad that it's puzzling." So he's saying that Drake has not been through as many hardships in his life compared to someone like Kendrick. Drake grew up in an average but nice neighborhood in Toronto, while Kendrick was in Section 8 government subsidized housing in Compton, where he was surrounded by a lot of crime.
Yeah. So it's like, say you lived a super privileged life and yet you were craving so much entitlement. Like, come on.
Yeah, he's trying to empathize with you because you've been through nothing. That's insane. But yeah, like Drake in his early songs, it's not like he had zero struggles. Like, if his father was absent, that's tragic. He talks about how, like, when he did get his first gig on Degrassi, I think according to one of his songs, he was making about $50,000 a year, and he was using that to pay for his mom's, like, house payments and stuff like that. So if that's all true, he did go through something. But Kendrick in his music talks about being given a gun at a young age and told to, like, rob people and stuff like that. Like, it's very different lifestyles, right?
Absolutely.
He says, no culture cachet to binge, just disrespecting your mother. Identities on the fence, don't know which family will love you. No culture cachet to binge. So he's talking about the whole biracial thing. He's saying that Drake has disrespected his mother by disregarding her culture and Jewish religion and just binging off the one that profits him more.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good one.
Why believe you? You never gave us nothing to believe in. In a 2019 interview after Drake lost the rap battle with Pusha T, he talked after Jackson quickly throwing that in there after Drake lost the rap battle.
I mean, he
Pusha
did.
T.
Most people agree he lost. There's only a few holdouts that think he won.
I agree. I agree he lost. But it's just funny the way that was worded.
Yeah.
He talked about how he didn't enjoy Pusha T's music because he didn't believe in it and didn't find it authentic. This could be a callback to that, while also being a callback to the claims of Drake being inauthentic himself. So Kendrick then says, because you lied about religious views, you lied about your surgery, you lied about your accent, your past tense, all is perjury. You lied about your ghostwriters, you lied about your crew members. They all pussy, you lied on them. I know they all got you in them. You lied about your son, you lied about your daughter, huh? You lied about them other kids that's out here hoping that you come. So
Again,
he hates this man so much.
You can see the passion in it. So basically there he's implying that there's more kids than even just Adonis and the girl he referenced earlier.
Is saying he lied about his religion, everything. About writing, about kids, that he's got more kids out there. He lied about his crew. He's saying every part. This is what I was talking about earlier. The reason stuff like the Ozempic, the ghostwriters matters here where it doesn't somewhere else is because most of a rapper's credibility is built on their authenticity, that they really mean the things they're talking about. And he's saying that not just his music, but everything from his family, his religion, all of it is just a fraud that he puts on.
Nothing is authentic.
He hates this man.
So much hate.
And then he says, you lied about the only artist that can offer you some help. Screw a rap battle. This is a lifelong battle with yourself. So I love that line. He's saying that he gets more and more intense as this verse goes on. By the way, Kendrick's really good at like framing. He frames like his flow to where it can help further like the weight of some of the points he's making. So this is kind of like the closeout for it. And he's calling Drake out for everything that he believes Drake has done, while saying that Kendrick was the only person who could offer him some help, but that this is something bigger than Kendrick because at the end, Drake is fighting himself.
Yep, exactly.
Which,
very succinct.
Yeah. Like you said, he hates this guy.
He hates him.
So this is Not Like Us from Kendrick. Now, I already forgot if we mentioned, but the previous one from Kendrick, Meet the Grams, came out 20 minutes after Drake's Family Matters.
Yep.
So it was super quick response. He had that shit ready to ride. Loaded. Yep. And then I think it was 12 hours after Meet the Grams, Kendrick dropped again, double tapping Drake here with this one. So also on May 4th, he released Not Like Us. The cover art is a Google image screenshot of Drake's house nicknamed The Embassy, with little identifying indicators that are used to show where sex offenders live. So the implication is that Drake employs and associates with a lot of sex offenders. It is insane. And then Jackson has, to be completely fair, Kendrick Lamar also associates with people who have said some sketchy things about minors like Metro Boomin.
Which is fair. Like he has. There's definitely, he has associated with and worked with, even in this battle. let's say, with people that have said some pretty sketchy stuff.
Speaking of, when did Metro's beat come out? When did that happen? That was May 4th, right?
Yeah.
Or May 5th?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was May 4th.
Okay.
Wait, when was it? I can't fucking type. Never mind.
Oh, right. Your keyboard's
gone. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, though, not like us. I see dead people, and then mustard on the beat, ho. So in Family Matters, Drake says, "You know who really bang his set? YG. Having Mustard on this track is a hit back, as Mustard is a big producer for YG. Mustard also shared the song on his Twitter, saying, "I'll never turn my back on my city, and I'm fully loaded." So just having him here was already a big move.
Yeah.
Also, the line "I see dead people" is calling back to the Sixth Sense reference made in the previous. Yeah.
What's up with these jabroni-ass dudes trying to see Compton? Kendrick again pointing out he's frustrated with Drake trying to see Compton. Drake had to take down an Instagram post shortly after he released Tailor-Made Freestyle because he was wearing a Compton Community College t-shirt.
That's funny.
Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Kendrick will put aside his religious beliefs to come back at Drake.
His religious beef.
He's got a problem with God.
Kendrick's taking it all the way up to heaven. Yeah.
It's like they got Kendrick. You remember that scene in Spider-Man 3 when Eddie goes to church and he's like, "I want you to kill Peter Parker."
Oh yeah,
that's Kendrick with Drake right now. He hates him so much.
God, you gotta do this for me.
Say, Drake, I hear you like 'em young. You better not ever go to Cell Block 1. So this is continuing with the Drake liking underage girls.
Mm-hmm.
And party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baca got a weird case. Why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles.
And that is the best line of this entire feud. Absolutely.
The way he says it too. Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the next line I think is the best one. So I think it's pretty obvious here. It's him talking about how OVO are terrible people, and Party is Party Next Door, who he calls out as having a cocaine addiction. Baca is Baca Not Nice, who was talked about a minute ago with being charged with human trafficking. So it's not only just being like pedophiles and stuff; it's also alleging like human trafficking, like Drake
really
being associated
shit
with it. Yeah, trying to strike a chord, and it's you didn't put the whole line in here, so it goes. What is it? At your age, trolling, aren't you tired? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor.
Yeah.
It's so
he hangs on the A minor.
Yeah.
A minor.
So it's pretty clear, again, just poking at Drake being into underage women. And also, it's been speculated that Family Matters was sung mostly in A minor scale. And also on a piano, A minor scale is only white keys. Again, potentially a diss at Drake for being biracial and inauthentic. I saw that one on Twitter as well.
It's super interesting.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I mean, I don't know if it's like on purpose, but that would be impressive if that is like, if that's why he came to that conclusion or wrote that line.
That would be crazy.
So wait. The reason why I like certified lover boys, certified pedophiles more than that line is I feel like the A minor part is kind of predictable. I've seen that line used to like joke about that kind of stuff in the past. I think Bo Burnham's got a joke that's similar to that. Whereas certified lover boys, certified pedophiles just comes out of nowhere. It's kind of like an anti-joke, almost like it doesn't even make sense. It's just hilarious how much conviction is said behind the line. That's why I like it more.
Again, he hates him so much.
It hit me more. It hit me harder than the A minor one, but they're both great. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Fucked on Wayne's girl while he was in jail, that's conniving. Then get his face tatted like a bitch apologizing. So this one has actually been confirmed.
Yeah, this is confirmed.
So, yeah. Drake had sex with Lil Wayne's partner, Tammy Torres, when Wayne went to jail in 2010. A few years later, Drake got a portrait of Wayne's face tattooed on his upper arm. Whether or not that's because he was like apologizing to Wayne, that's not confirmed. But the act of...
like, Wayne put him on. Right, like he's the reason Drake's famous. So to have sex with his girl,
a bitch,
while he's
man!
in jail,
it's crazy.
I mean, Drake's the bitch. I mean, like, what an absolute scumbag having like fucking the dude that made you famous. Fucking the dude's wife or girlfriend that made you famous while he's in prison.
And that's been confirmed. You said?
That has been confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt. Wayne even spoke about it. He started by saying, like, I have terrible memory. Who are we talking about? And he's like, oh, yeah, no, that definitely happened. Yeah, so no, that is true.
Fuck that. Man.
But he wasn't like, he said he wasn't like mad about it anymore. He said hoes will be hoes. So
wait, is it still his partner?
I guess, no. They're not like still together or anything, I don't think.
Man. That would have been funny. Anyway.
And your homeboy needs subpoena that predator move in flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. So he's saying that Drake and the people around him are predators, and in the U.S., Megan's Law means that sex offenders are required to register their address for the community to see, and this ties into the cover art for the song.
Yeah, there's a little, update on U.S. law for you guys out there who don't know about Megan's Law.
Thank you, Jackson.
Yep. It's required by law.
Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie still doubling down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the Mecca, building railroads and trains. So he's referring to how on Family Matters, Drake called enslaved African Americans slaves, describing slavery as an identity rather than how it was imposed upon people against their will. So he's pointing out a disconnection to the culture.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
So then he goes, no, you not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer. The family matter and the truth of the matter, it was God's plans to show y'all the liar. So Drake has been called the colonizer by many, especially with him purchasing hip-hop heirlooms like Tupac's ring and Pharrell's jewelry. And Kendrick uses God's plan, the name of one of Drake's songs, against him, saying it's God's plan to show that Drake is a liar.
Absolutely. I think, I do think that Not Like Us is the best song out of the lot.
I think so too. It's
the perfect mix.
Even if you didn't know the beef between them, the song is just good.
Yeah.
It's just a good
You could
song.
listen to it without caring about the feud. You could listen to it without like knowing about the feud. Like it's in my playlist now, whereas most of the other songs I don't think are like in my playlist.
I don't know. I feel like Meet the Grahams is the most hitting one, right? That's like the roughest.
No, I don't know. I actually think Not Like Us is the hardest because he's just point blank, you're a pedophile. You like underage girls.
That's what I mean. I feel like it's more nuanced and interesting to be like Dear Adonis. I'm sorry that man. Yeah. That feels more like personal. Artistic. You know, I'd rather be like that guy. I don't like him. He's a predator. You know.
I mean, I like the song though. I like listening to the song more than the rest. Is what I meant.
I do like it. However, I feel like Euphoria has a bit better of a flow. But I do like Not Like Us. It is good.
All right. So after this point, people are wondering, is it even worth Drake coming back and swinging back? Because at this point, he had been buried essentially with all these lines. But to Drake's credit, he did come back with The Heart Part 6, which is a pretty clever title to give it. Credit where credit is due, yet again.
Which he stole from a Twitter user who had a viral tweet saying that if Drake claps back, he should call it The Heart Part 6. Yeah. I can't even give Drake the credit.
Maybe he wasn't looking at Twitter that day. Maybe he came up with this on his own. We don't know for sure.
I will also say that a few days ago, that there's one piece of this I think should be mentioned, and that's the Metro Boomin part, right? Mm-hmm. So Metro was also kind of involved in this whole beef because he is the one who originally made the album with Metro Boomin's a big producer. He makes beats. He made an album with Future, which is where Kendrick made the original song Like That, correct? That was the track that came out on that album. Mm-hmm. It's the feature Kendrick did that like kicked all this off. So in some of his disses, Drake is calling out Metro and he says, Metro, shut up and beat some drums. Basically, like, you're not even a rapper. Go make a beat. What are you doing here? So Metro, right before Heart Part 6, if I recall right, released, he put it out on Twitter. He released a beat and said, I'll make a free beat for whoever can make the best song over this. And the beat is called BBL Drizzy. And it's a beat where it's a woman singing about Drake having a BBL.
That's hilarious.
So Metro's like, oh, you go beat some drums? Okay, how's this?
Fucking great. So good. And all the memes and side things that have happened outside of just these two going at it have been fucking hilarious most of the time. Really, really funny.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, on May 5th, Drake released The Heart Part 6. So far, this is the last diss track to come out at this point anyway. Again, still a developing situation. We might need to do a part 2 down the line with even more diss tracks, but this is where we sit currently. The name alone is smart, as Kendrick has other songs titled, The Heart Part 1 through to 5, and now either will feel like he cannot do part 6, or will, but this song will now be a part of its discussion for good or for bad. Drake posted the song on Instagram with a photo of Dave Free, who is that manager that we described before, who has been accused of sleeping with Kendrick's wife, Whitney. So this is all Drake's got, really, is like, your friend may have fucked your wife. Like, which is so mid and baseless compared to everything else. But whatever. He's also claimed frequently that Dave is the father to one of Kendrick's kids, using a photo of Dave Free commenting on a photo of Kendrick's kids with a heart emoji to signify it. He also captioned it on Instagram saying, "And we know you're dropping 6 mins after, so instead of posting my address, you have a lot to address. The Pulitzer Prize winner is definitely spiraling," which is a pretty weak caption, honestly. Like, pretty... He sounds so, like, tilted, honestly. Like, whenever he's talking about...
Yeah, he definitely does.
About it outside of... the lyrics. Anyway, these are the lyrics. "The ones that you're getting your stories from, they all clowns. I am a war general seasoned in preparation. My jacket is covered in medals, honor and decoration. You waited for this moment, overcome with a desperation. We plotted for a week, and then we fed you the information." That's a big assertion right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
"A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it. We thought about giving a fake name or a destination, but you so thirsty, you not concerned with investigation. Instead, you in that Venice studio, it's a celebration. You gotta learn to fact check things and be less impatient." So Drake here is claiming that there is no mole in his team, that Kendrick instead has been fed fake lies, like about how Drake has a daughter. This has come under contention for a few reasons. Drake first says that the one Kendrick got his stories from are clowns, but then is saying that his team gave him the information. So which is it, Drake? Are they clowns or is it your team? Or are you just insulting your team? Like, what is it, Drake? He also has no proof about doing this, leading many people to claim that Drake is just desperately attempting to save face.
Another thing worth mentioning is after that allegation came out in the Kendrick tracks, Drake went on Instagram. He's like, "Can someone find me that 11-year-old daughter?" Like, he went into a defensive mode as opposed to, like, this bravado that he's putting on here.
Surely if he had the proof that he fed that information to Kendrick, he would have just posted the proof, being like, "Nah, it's all made up. Look, I tricked him." Instead of being like, what was it like? He said on Instagram, like, "If you find my 11-year-old daughter, I'll work for you," or some dumb shit like that.
Yeah, I'll quit rap and work for you is what he said.
Yeah, really dumb. Also, I said this on the official podcast the other day, but, like, he's very focused on the 11-year-old aspect and not the fact that he's being called a pedophile. Surely he would have been like, "I'm not a pedophile," but instead he's like, "I don't have an 11-year-old daughter. That's crazy." Like,
that's ridiculous.
Like, okay, Drake. All right, so the next line. "Even the picture you use, the jokes and the medication, the Maybach glove and the drug he uses for less inflation." So Drake is saying here that even the cover art for Meet the Grahams was a lie fed to Kendrick, which I guess would make sense if we're operating under the assumption that Drake is telling the truth here and that there are no...
If he's right, then
that would explain the leak and all that kind of stuff, yeah. And why that picture was sent to Kendrick. All right, and then what about the bones we dug up in that excavation? And why isn't Whitney denying all of the allegations? Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale? So Drake has brought up that allegedly Dave Free, we've talked about this, is the father of one of Kendrick's kids. He's asking why they are letting the rumor circulate without denying it. But again, we can, like, spin that around and be like, "Why aren't you denying being a pedophile, Drake?" So, come on. Also pointing out that Whitney follows Dave on Instagram, but not Kendrick, which is true. Whitney doesn't follow Kendrick on Instagram and vice versa. But again, like, that's high school shit. I don't think Kendrick follows anyone on Instagram. I think he's got, like, one of those very hyper-focused art profiles where he follows no one and it's just like a repository for his art. Mm-hmm. So who knows? Some fans have also said that she doesn't need to follow Kendrick as she would have a direct line of contact, which, yeah, obviously. And also, it's like super childish shit. If your entire argument boils down to, I noticed she doesn't follow you on Instagram. Like, come on, Drake.
Something must have gone wrong.
Yeah. How interesting. It just shows like where his mentality is at, you know? Like that's so unserious.
Yeah. Why isn't it Facebook official?
Yeah, exactly. You haven't seen the kids in 6 months. The distance is wild. Dave leaving heart emojis underneath pics of the child. So Drake is claiming that Kendrick hasn't seen his children in over 6 months, living in the New York apartment that he has talked about a few times at this point. And he also says Dave's leaving heart emojis is also a callback to the cover art of the song, and it's apparently an indication that Dave is the father of the children. Which has got to be the weakest fucking evidence of all time. If Drake believes that this man is the father of Kendrick's children because he leaves heart emojis underneath pictures of them, or one picture of them at least, like, come on. That's the best you can do? That's your evidence? It's crazy.
He's getting a lot of mileage out of the whole, that
Instagram.
Child is actually not your kid, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just everything Instagram.
All right, and now we come to the Red Thread special, the moment you've all been waiting for. It comes up once an episode, and Drake has done you a service by bringing it up today. So big thank you to Drake. Yep, massive.
Let's go!
He says, speaking of anything with a child, let's get to that now. This Epstein angle was the shit I expected. TikTok videos. Yeah, Epstein! Yes. Woo! Makes his 19th appearance in the Red Thread.
Yeah.
TikTok videos you collected and dissected. Instead of being on some disdirect shit, you rather fucking grab your pen and misdirect shit. So Drake here is denying the allegations about liking children, saying that Kendrick is completely misdirecting the truth, which I mean, I guess that's all he can do. He's like, no, that's not true. I swear it's not true.
I also like how he says the Epstein angle is what he expected, but he didn't take the Epstein angle. He said Weinstein. Yeah, he just got confused.
Also, how bad is it for Drake where he expects to be called a pedophile wherever he goes?
True.
Yeah, like that's.
Well, he planted that evidence too. I'm
true.
sure.
Yeah, it's all 4D chess.
Of course.
That's the one record where you say you got molested. Oh, fuck me, I just made the whole connection. This is about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confessions. So
the way he phrases that too is so Kendrick had a song called I, which again I think was on To Pimp a Butterfly, where Kendrick says that he was molested. He was left alone with an older man. And the way Drake phrases it is he's like having a conversation with his mom, and he's like, "Mother, I, wait, that's the track where you said you got," like he's framing it as if he naturally finds out in conversation that this is all Kendrick projecting for the molestation that happened to him. Look, as YouTubers, this is our home plate, not only because haha YouTube pedophile, but also how many times have we heard people who like do predator chasing stuff get the whole accusation of, oh well, you must be a pedophile yourself, or oh, I bet you got touched as a kid.
Yeah.
That is exactly what Drake's doing here. Same strategy.
That is such a brain dead take all the time.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning Drake didn't understand Kendrick's lyrics, so I looked into it a little bit because there's a lot of debate on that. Kendrick never
he denies it.
Ever claimed that he got molested ever.
Correct.
Actually,
he never outright says it. He never outright says it.
Well,
Some people
like
have said that he
outright
implied it, but
no, I'm pretty sure he denies it.
No, he outright says it never happened. It's not like he even like.
Okay, I didn't know he straight up denied it. I just thought it was like it could be interpreted. Okay, I didn't know he denied it. Gotcha.
From what I remember, like he talks about sexual trauma and molestation, and like he talks about being questioned about it by his family, but he denies. I think it's specifically his cousin. I wrote here his cousin. He denies that his cousin molested him. But regardless, Drake is bringing it up and using it as projection, like saying that Kendrick is projecting the trauma onto Drake, which is the weirdest fucking defense to being called a pedophile.
It's a terrible angle. Yeah, it's a terrible angle to try.
Yeah, insane. Honestly, insane. And it makes him look really callous too, right? Like almost like making fun of people who are being molested or whatever. It's a really weird take. Yeah. Really weird direction to go. And then he says, quote, this is Drake again. I never been with no one underage, but now I understand why this is the angle that you really mess with. Just for clarity, I feel disgusted. I'm too respected. If I was fucking young girls, I'd promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested. It got worse. It got worse, guys.
Actually, the
somehow
worst.
He took it to the next level of worst defenses possible. I'm way too famous for the. You just brought up Epstein. and Weinstein, right? Regardless, so many fucking famous people being accused of the same, or proven to be guilty of the same thing you're now being accused of, and your defense is, I'm way too famous for this shit. Like, it actually boggles the brain.
It is so crazy. I know, it is actually so
famous
crazy.
Famous people never get away with touching children.
Yeah. Pedophilia, that's for poor people. Like, what?
Like, I have to imagine he wrote these. Like, his ghostwriters probably took a break. They're like, all right, we need some time to process. He's like, all right, don't worry, I got this one.
Or maybe his ghostwriters are now like in the employ of Kendrick because, come on.
They're the spies.
The spies.
Come on, man. Again, if I was fucking young girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. How is that a defense? Like, I'm not a pedophile. I haven't been arrested for it, have I? Like, what? You're only a pedophile when you get arrested for it. Anyway, the next quote is, you mentioning a minor, but guy gotta be sharp and tell the fans, who was it? Oh, Jesus Christ. I felt that hurt saying that one. That is such a fucking bad line.
That's cringe. It's so cringe.
But, man, it actually retroactively makes the A minor worse because now I'm always going to be thinking about how he cringed it up by you saying B sharp.
B sharp.
Which also is not a key.
No, it's not. There's a whole Simpson joke about it because the Homer creates the B sharps with his friends, and the whole joke is that they're fucking stupid, and it's not an actual key. So hitting back at one of Kendrick's catchiest lines in Not Like Us, Drake is telling Kendrick he needs to be sharp and come clean, just in the most Drake way possible, which is what we just heard. And now we come to one of the funniest lines. Oh my God. He says, only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Brown's. I'd never look twice at no teenager. He's self-reporting. He's actually like doing more damage to himself than Kendrick ever did.
Yeah, so the memes that came from that were extraordinary. Because it was like, Kendrick, you're a pedophile. And he goes, I did nothing inappropriate with Millie Bobby Brown. Like, it's like, who mentioned Millie Bobby Brown?
Who brought that up, dude? Like, actual self-report.
Not only did he bring it up, but also that line, I never looked twice at no teenager, which is a strange thing to say. But in his song, Nice for What, he's talking about a girl, and he says, high school pics, you was even bad then.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah, that one too.
Look so
I mean,
good.
we're gonna get into the evidence, like, briefly anyway, because this is going on for a long time, but we are going to talk about, like, evidence of Drake's relationship with minors coming up once we finish this little bit. But yeah, I mean, just that line. Drake came under a lot of controversy in 2018 regarding his close relationship with Millie Bobby Brown, who said in an interview that they would message each other things like, I love you, I miss you, and he would give her advice about boys late at night. This is an interesting line in the song, as Kendrick never brought up Millie Bobby Brown directly. So he immediately went on the Millie Bobby Brown defense. Which, I mean, also 2018, he was in his mid-30s. Drake was in his mid-30s around that time, or at least early 30s. Millie Bobby Brown was 14. What in the world is a 30-year-old man doing texting a 14-year-old girl? Just at a bare minimum. Like, just texting them at all, super fucking weird. But saying shit like, I love you, miss you, and giving her advice, like relationship advice.
Giving her boys advice is crazy.
Yeah, actually,
all of that is so... It's so crazy.
Even at the time.
It's indefensible.
Even at the time, like, they spun that out like it was a feel-good PR story, and everyone was like, wait, what? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I remember when I first learned about that, I was like, holy shit, this is so weird. This is super weird. Drake's a weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when it all, like, kind of bubbled up, like, at least in public perception towards Drake. And then we have, I don't want to fight with a woman beater. It feeds your nature. If you still bump in R. Kelly, you could thank the savior. Said if they deleted his music, then your music is going too. A hypocrite. So here, I mean, this is honestly Drake's best point. Because
this is his best point,
all the rest have been dog shit, so it's a very low bar to hop over. But so Drake brings up that when R. Kelly and XXXTentacion songs were being removed from Spotify playlist, Kendrick threatened to take his own music from Spotify, removing it from Spotify, which is I get that he was probably standing up for the art of it, because again, Kendrick strikes me as like an auteur, kind of someone who takes the art form very seriously, and preservation of music probably ties into that. But to defend R. Kelly and XXX Tentacion, who is an awful person. Like really, he's done really fucked up shit with minors as well. It does come across as pretty hypocritical. So here, Drake is calling Kendrick a hypocrite for this, as he was somewhat supporting proven child abusers. Were you looking up something then? I heard typing.
That was not me.
No, that was me.
It was definitely not me. My keyboard doesn't work. I thought you might have been looking up XXX Tentacion. And so if you wanted to know more about that, like he was found guilty of it, right? Of doing some really sketchy stuff with underage people. Charlie, I feel like you would know.
So I don't know the underage people thing. The big thing with X was there's the allegations of domestic abuse. So I remember, and I could get the details wrong here, but I remember it was something like his girl at the time was pregnant and he tried to force an abortion on her by like punching her in the stomach and shit like that. That's what I remember.
Wait, who?
I don't
okay,
know
wait.
about
Who am I
child
thinking
abuse
of?
stuff.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
R. Kelly.
No, I know.
No, you're just thinking R. Kelly.
No, R. Kelly is a bad dude. But there was another like SoundCloud rapper. I don't remember who, but he was like he had like 14-year-old girls on a music video set, and he was like having sex with them and making out with them on set.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I thought that was
another one.
I thought that was
another one that kind of did that is 6ix9ine.
Oh, I think you're right. I think I'm thinking of 6ix9ine. Regardless, what you said is bad. Obviously,
there was a whole conspiracy that Drake killed X that went around.
Yeah, there was a conspiracy Drake killed X.
No, that's I was thinking of I was specifically thinking about the child abuse on the set of that music video, which it sounds like was 6ix9ine. Regardless, it doesn't matter. They're both like Drake's point is fair here. Like R. Kelly and XXX are both pretty dodgy dudes, let's say. R. Kelly definitely. I mean, like we've talked about that in the past. R. Kelly is an awful person. He's urinated on children. All right, the next line. And Whitney, you can hit me if you need a favor. And when I say I hit your back, it's a lot safer. I promise. So Drake here is saying that if Whitney needs a favor, she can hit him up and he will help, while also insinuating again that Kendrick Lamar beats his wife. He beats her. So yeah, I mean, allegations again, nothing proven, like all the Drake shit, all the Drake evidence about him being weird with kids. So he didn't really field a very strong attack or defense here, in my opinion. But at least the song was, fine. Like it was a pretty good song.
I thought the song was okay. It wasn't nearly as good as Family Matters from him, though.
No, not at all. And I could it was at this point definitely where I'm like, he's just on the defense now. I feel like he doesn't want to be doing this anymore. He realizes that he bit off more than he can chew, and he's just playing defense. So I don't. Do you guys think that it ends here? Do you think more diss tracks come out? Kendrick probably will.
Yeah, I don't think Kendrick lets Drake have the last word.
Yeah, you're right. Probably not. But I think Drake probably will just try to slink away and let it stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I think for him. So let's get to the most recent thing. This happened yesterday, actually, as of recording. So there was a shooting outside of Drake's mansion in Toronto on the early morning of May 7th. Initial reports were being publicized that there were concerns that the individual shot was Drake due to the internet beef at the time. However, it was quickly revealed that a security guard was the only individual seriously injured in the incident. The shooting took place at 2 a.m. at the residence. The guard was reportedly standing outside a gate when he was shot from a vehicle that subsequently fled the scene. He was transported to the hospital in serious condition. The exact motive for the shooting remains unclear at this early stage of the investigation, and it is not known if Drake was present at the mansion during the incident, though it's not impossible to believe that this was somehow connected to the beef online. I think it's a very high chance that it was, yeah.
Wait, do you think someone from Kendrick Lamar's camp?
No. I think it's probably, like, these have been so big, and in no uncertain terms, Kendrick is like, he should die. The people around him should die. So hearing someone, hearing a mentally unwell person hearing that would be like, okay, I'll do that then. They deserve it. I'll do it.
This is for you, Kendrick.
They get together and do it.
Yeah, I guess. But okay, so here's an interesting question then. Do you think that Kendrick is responsible in any way for that?
That's tough. I don't know. I don't know where I stand on that. I guess
this is the whole question of audience responsibility, I guess.
Yeah, but on a bigger scale, I mean, he's directly saying he should die. Like, I feel like
he is literally saying that they should die, need to die. It'd be a good thing if they were dead.
Couple that in with the hip hop crowd and hip hop audience already having those kind of strong ties to that kind of behavior.
And like Drake's address is like a matter of public record, right? So
I mean, it's in a picture on the album cover.
He did put a picture of it. So anyone who gets that idea, would just like, what if it was two YouTubers, right? What if a YouTuber said another one should die, then someone went and tried to shoot that one? We would say,
I actually would think that it would, bear some responsibility in that situation, 100%.
It was incredibly reckless that led to it, right? So I would say Kendrick probably does have some culpability with that. Now, if Kendrick is right, and Drake is like abusing children,
if he's a certified lover boy, then maybe it should be.
Yeah, then who cares, right? But if this is just like rap beef that has gone too far and exaggerated, then maybe not. Maybe it is a problem.
This is definitely the most explosive rap beef of the last at least 25 years, right? Like it's
definitely up there.
When did Pac and Biggie die?
Like 90s, early 90s.
Would have been after that, yeah.
All right, so then we come to Drake's relationship with minors. So while there is no concrete, like super concrete proof, let's say, that Drake is a child predator, there have been frequent inappropriate events that people have been talking about for years at this point. Drake is very quickly becoming implicated through various different events that have taken place that seem suspect when looking at them all together, let alone individually. So what I'm saying is, like, they might seem like not enough to outright call him a child predator, but when you kind of combine all of them together, it definitely paints a very weird picture of how he like interacts with people underage. So number one, we have the concert incidents. So Drake has previously been publicly criticized for onstage behavior with younger female fans. Charlie, you know this example. I think you brought it up earlier in the show. For example, in one instance during a concert, Drake invites a 17-year-old girl on stage, and after confirming her age, I think that's important, he like says, "Oh, you're 17?" He would then go on to make physical contact with her by kissing her neck and commenting on her appearance in a manner that is at least adjacent to that of someone sexualizing a minor.
Okay, you did a very generous favor to that video, because that video is gross. So the girl's on stage, and I don't think he knows anything about it. They bring fans on randomly during concerts all the time. Mm-hmm. This was in 2010. And then he asked the girl how old she is, and she says 17. He goes, 17? I can't go to jail yet. Why are you so thick, though?
Shit, he like leans over and looks at her ass, looks her up and down.
Yep. After she's already said she's 17. And then he like goes in close on her, and he goes, I like the way your breasts feel against my chest, and then he kisses her. So like it's a lot like that. It's completely indefensible.
Oh, that shit is so
how old was Drake
weird.
During that?
24, 23.
Yeah, it'd be like 24. Okay. I think 24.
Okay.
It's not even like the gap in their ages. It's the fact that he confirmed she's underage.
Yeah, any responsible artist would have been like, they wouldn't have pushed that any further, even if they were like, around the same age, because it's just not a good look, obviously. It's also like legally irresponsible. And then we've also got relationship rumors and texting habits, which we just talked about. Drake has faced heavy criticism over rumors of relationships or inappropriate interactions with younger celebrities before they've reached the age of 18. Drake's communication with younger celebrities like Millie Bobby Brown, who you may know from the intro of this episode, and Billie Eilish have been heavily talked about. He reportedly gave them advice on personal matters, which some have argued is inappropriate given the age gap. For example, Millie Bobby Brown was only 14 when Drake was allegedly giving her boy advice late at night through text, which is just so fucking weird.
There was some other stuff around that too. So like they were at a party or at the Grammys or something like that, and like Millie and Drake like hung out all night, according to reports. Like in public, like he didn't take her anywhere, but like they were like super buddy. And then like apparently he would like he got Billie's number and started texting her about advice, which in isolation would be fine. Just someone in the industry being like, oh, here's some tips. But it is the pattern of it that is strange, right?
Man, I don't call me crazy, but I don't even think it's fine for him to be like one-on-one texting her about like industry stuff.
The texting's weird. The texting makes it weird. If it was like for example, if Drake saw Billie Eilish at like
if it was a social setting, completely
totally fine. But it's the texting and the weirdness and the private conversations. It feels strange.
Yeah.
100%. He also like took Millie Bobby Brown to like a big dinner or something to like meet her for the first time. I think it was like it's so weird. His like fixation on Millie Bobby Brown when she was a child.
Do you know if that was like a one-on-one dinner?
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I looked into that.
I mean, that just sounds like a date to me.
Yeah, I mean that is what it sounds like. Yeah.
All right. It is really weird, but we are running 3 hours. We just hit the 3 hour mark.
It is 3 hours.
It's an insane amount of time for us to talk about this. I think we've covered everything though, in pretty excruciating detail. Do you guys have any like final opinions on where this is going or anything like that, or what we've talked about?
Kendrick is obviously winning in like the biggest possible way, and I think he's probably going to respond at least once more.
I will say, I think he will respond once more. If it comes out that Drake is right about the domestic violence stuff, tables may turn a bit, right?
Yeah.
And
that would be
okay,
big,
hold on. If it's in combination with nothing else coming out about Drake, because if it comes out like more stuff regarding like underage people and stuff like that maybe he's knowingly covered up for people at OVO, that would be a big issue. But if right now if it just stays he's kind of weird with kids and it comes out that Kendrick is a domestic abuser, I think the tables will flip. Short of that happening, I think Kendrick has won by a long shot. It has made Drake make the best music he has in years.
True,
but Kendrick's absolutely winning.
So here's my thing. I don't think the tables will turn, even if evidence comes out. I think the best Drake can hope for is evening the tables. Like that's all that he can get at this point, because his reputation has been marred by this. Pretty significantly. He is the laughingstock of the internet. And not only that, people defending Drake, like the Drake fans, the Drake diehards, are also they are also the laughingstock of the internet at the moment. So it is not a great time to be a Drake fan. I wanted to go into this, I mean, it doesn't sound like it, but I did want to go into this like pretty unbiased, but it's just hard knowing what we know about Drake and like how goofy he is and how corny he is, and also the stuff with children and stuff like that. There's just way more evidence against Drake. I will say that I do want to see evidence come out, because they are talking and alleging very serious things at this point. It kind of feels like it has transcended beyond something that should be like just diss tracks. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be just revolving around this diss track world. These feel like things that should be actually explored through releasing the evidence that they say they have. Definitely in both camps, I think it has just transcended beyond something that is, just diss tracks. So I would like to see someone come out with something. Otherwise, it just feels a bit weird. It does feel a bit weird that this has become entertainment. We're talking about domestic abuse and pedophilia, and it's just becoming kind of like a glorified gladiator battle between two artists through diss tracks, when I feel like they're very serious things that should be treated seriously. But that's where the drama is sitting at this moment. This has been an extremely long deep dive into the situation. I hope that it's been kind of enlightening to anyone out there who hasn't dipped their toes into it. I highly recommend going and listening to the tracks just to see what we've been talking about. Other than that, I feel like it's just a he said situation at the moment. So we'll see where this goes. We might do a part 2 down the line if more comes out, anything more substantial comes out. We might do a part 2. Let us know what you think about this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it a lot. I hope you two enjoyed it as well. Anything else? Or can we end it there?
No, I think that's all good.
Thank you very much for listening to Red Thread. Thank you very much. I don't think there's anything else. I don't even know what I say at the end of these. I think that's it. Thanks.
Stay thread.
Thanks, everyone.
Stay
Bye-bye.
threaded.
Yeah, stay red.
Stay red.
Stay threaded.
Stay red and also threaded.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.